What's up, guys? Grey Wolf from Grove Construction, and I'm back. We're going to be finishing the pier today. I've got a couple of special guests, Seeker being one of them, longtime construction crew member, first time in a while since I've heard from him, and a new person that is an incredibly great streamer. You should check her out. Her name is Rach. You can find her on Twitch at Outrageous, and she's currently playing Hogwarts Legacy, so get over there right now and give her a follow. So we are finishing the pier as we had started before. We have a few more contracts we'll be doing later on with this team over the weekend. But I just wanted to do some solo runs and have these guys in the background talking about games and nerdy stuff and all kinds of anything. So welcome to the stream. I look forward to seeing from you in the chat. How's it going today, guys?
Yo, pretty good.
Hello.
Hello. My favorite thing is like Mrs. Doubtfire. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, you do it really well. Hello. I had to watch that the other day for the like fifth time, and it just brought me back childhood memories.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Rach.
Hmm?
I was actually gonna. One thing I was gonna ask a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
Have you tried? Have you tried the game Divinity Original Sin 2?
I have
That
both of
sounds
those.
familiar.
Have you finished it yet?
No, I haven't. I have started the first game several times, and I just, for whatever reason, I get distracted by something else and I don't play any more of it. It's not that it's bad. It's not that I'm not enjoying it. It's just that there are other things that take my attention and then I completely forget that I have it. But I do remember talking to a oyster or a clam with a pearl inside, and I remember the audio and the voice acting being very good, like very good.
What is
So,
The reason I was
divinity?
asking
mhm.
is because I've been looking for people to run Divinity Original Sin 2 with but modded.
Okay.
I find a lot of people mod their games these days. I mean, it seems like anyone that's looking for a game, it's always got to have a mod. And I understand like mods
Well,
can refresh a game that may be old, but I feel like a lot of people who have new games like instantly need a mod.
so I find like that there are some games out there that are almost unplayable without mods. And the
Okay.
best example of this
Skyrim.
is not just Skyrim, that is the
Oh,
obvious
come on,
answer.
guys. Come on.
But no, it's because Skyrim's been like released so many times
That's true. I
that
think I've bought
we're
that game 6 times now.
we're just waiting. We're waiting for the next installment. I remember playing that. God,
I
when
actually
was it?
re-downloaded it the other day.
When what? Not too long after it first came out, it was around Christmas time. I think I was in high school. Basically, my buddy John, who's like my brother, we were born within like 8 days of each other and grew up together. He came over around Christmas time because his parents were out of town for a few days before Christmas and he needed somewhere to stay because they weren't just going to leave him alone at the house. So he came over and was like, "I just got Skyrim. Do you?" Because he knew I just had gotten a PS3. He brought it and we played it.
Oh
And
my
it's my
god.
only experience with it.
On
Um,
PS3?
and
Oh,
with my PS3, yeah. And so, yeah. But then like back to the previous rewind
with the mod, yeah.
with the mod, game that is almost unplayable unless you mod it is Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines.
Oh, that does sound familiar.
Oh, it is so good. They're finally going to be releasing Bloodlines 2 eventually. They've been working on it for God only knows how long. But I'm a little I'm a little ambivalent because the last time they tried to do anything with Vampire the Masquerade was World of Darkness Online, and that got to the alpha stage and it looked chef's kiss beautiful.
What happened?
Um are you familiar with the game Eve Online?
Yes, I am.
Yes.
So, CCP Publishing
Uh-huh.
had bought out White Wolf Publishing,
Oh,
and they are the people who held the IP for World of Darkness and Vampire the Masquerade at that time. And they were working on World of Darkness Online, but that when that huge strike and player thing happened like many years ago,
Uh-huh.
they pulled basically everybody on every single dev team that was currently working on a game to fix the issues in EVE Online and canceled a bunch of games,
Oh.
including World of Darkness Online, which was in its alpha stage.
Well,
Um, and
if
it's
you think
sad.
about it, Eve
Yeah.
Online,
Mhm.
Eve Online, the reason why they would have like pulled everyone to it
Yeah.
is because one war, one
Yeah.
single war in Eve
Yeah.
Online can cost over $100,000 in real life money.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
So
yeah, revenue reasons, but
I got why, but I was still very disappointed
yeah.
because I was very much looking forward to, because I loved. Oh my God! Why can't I go up this thing? I did not mean to do that. I was very much looking forward to that game, so I was very upset.
Oh.
Oh no, my slots are
So
full.
I don't think I've ever seen the Masquerade games or played them,
Oh, so
but
there's only the one, but I think given our conversations about vampires, I
yeah.
think you'd like it.
There's another game out
Just
recently. What's it called? Something about vampires. It's been pretty popular game too. It's an MMO RPG.
Mhm.
I can't think of the name of it. Bloodlines? No. Yeah.
no, I know which one you're talking
Something
about.
online or V something. Is that what I'm thinking of? V.
Oh, I have a. There's a bunch of vampire games that are popular right now. V Rising is one of them.
Yes, that's it. V
Yeah,
Rising. Yeah, my friend tried to get me into that. I'm not. I don't know. I would love to give it time, but I don't have time to give it.
yeah. I'm very picky now with my games. There's just
Yeah.
dragonflies hanging out here.
Oh, that's a good sign.
Like I'm 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 very picky now with my games. So I worked at GameStop for God almost 8 years. So I used to buy like game after game after game after game, and I don't do that anymore. I I play these type of games. I play Final Fantasy. Um, I'll play like um, I play a lot of Switch games, like. But sometimes even break out the old point and click games.
The old school ones, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Let's see. See, you're
wasn't
still
the
solving the
you
puzzle
were
there
talking
too.
about you're talking about the vampire games, and the thing is that um the wasn't the one of the vampire games you I think we're talking about, isn't that the one with the really stupid crouching animation
Oh,
that
it
like
does.
sounds like a
It it's
oh
it's stupid. One of the mods, I don't remember which mod, but there is a mod that actually fixes it. Like the community. So when this game came out, it was complete, but it wasn't really. It had some audio weirdness. And so Vampire the Masquerade is actually a pen and paper RPG. Like in real, like
Oh,
that's what it is.
interesting.
People play it. So like Dungeons and Dragons type stuff. There's a bunch of creators out there that do streaming content that is just them playing Vampire the Masquerade with their friends, like Critical Role would do. But they made, of course, it into, and there's lore books and all kind of stuff. They made it into a game as well, and it is just a really interesting mechanic system. But some of the animations are really wild.
Yeah.
Um,
Wild.
and Oh yeah, like I can't illustrate this. I can like with my hand. It's literally like it's like your hand is in crouch like that. That's what it looks like. It's like a crab walk. That's their
Oh God.
yeah. It's kind of disturbing. Every time I play it, I play as a Malkavian, which is the best race to play, a race of vampire to play in Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, in my opinion.
Malkavian.
Highlights Malkavian, yeah. They're
Wow.
it's they're vampires that have schizophrenia. That's literally what
Oh,
it is.
that sounds
Yeah,
joyful.
it is. It's actually not really, but it on some level it is amusing. there's at one point during the game where you can have a conversation with the stop sign, just going, "No, you stop that.
Oh,
No,
you stop.
stop that." Exactly.
Oh my goodness.
And then there's one where you literally talk to your television set. You talk to the anchor on the television.
Oh my
Hallucinating.
goodness.
Yeah, but it's pretty damn funny in my opinion.
Yeah.
But
It's a nice comedic relief. Is it a pretty dark game? Is it like dark humor or?
yes, 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 I'd say so. It's
Huh.
got some dark stuff in it too, 100%.
So is your character that you're playing, is it male or female? It looks female to me.
That's a man. I
Okay.
made him pretty.
Oh, I see. A little bit of a
It's it,
femboy.
you only have like you only have so many options on here.
Yeah.
Like, and I was like, I'm just gonna make it look fun. And I could, I can change his appearance and stuff like that if I go to. But right now I'm just like, this is the vibe.
That works.
But there's all kinds of interesting. Let's see, if I go into change appearance here, I can go into collections and pick. I can make him look like he's from Azkaban prison if I wanted to.
Ah.
Like,
Give him some dirt, scars.
there we go.
No, he's a
That's,
Slytherin though. Slytherin definitely take care of their skin and their hair, so it makes sense.
Pure bloods.
Yeah.
We got more friends.
Guys, we're streaming.
Hey,
So
what's
just,
up?
Careful what you say.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm a little family friendly with my streaming because it is construction content. Although on a real site that would be the case. There'd be all kinds of curse words. You would leave with a vocabulary only a sailor would blush at, and I'm not sure what outrageous. If you guys want to follow her on Twitch, we're watching her right now. She's playing Hogwarts Legacy. We are I'm currently doing a solo with my stream, but more than welcome to join in and chat and be a part of the stream with us.
I'm pretty okay with expletives, as long as it's not like too much too often.
Yeah, we had
will,
one
yeah.
gentleman that was just going like on a hamster wheel of swear words. I was like, okay.
Now, I will say with this particular content, I know I do have some friends back home that have kids that will occasionally tune in, so I try to keep it to a minimum. Like, I'll say crap or bullocks because they're like 12, so
Or muggle.
Or Merlin saggy left, whatever. I try to keep it on.
Shut the front door.
Shut the front door, exactly. But I will say when I stream things like Sea of Thieves.
Okay, that's different.
That's different.
That's different.
It's a pirate game.
Yeah, I think there should be some sailor swearing going on in there.
100%.
Weirdly enough, with basically the swearing, I love the fact that like if you played some of the old Gears of War or some of the other games, they replaced certain swearing, like including like with Battlestar Galactica as well. They replaced the F word with frack.
Frack?
They said frack, yes.
Wow.
So basically, there is words you could use from different series to
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, so basically, we'll use the Hogwarts one. We'll call people Muggles if they be little screwballs.
I wonder if I don't know if this would sound like Mother Cement Bucket. No. Yeah, no. Doesn't have the same ring.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
We'll figure it out. We can't say something like your mother was a hoe operator.
Well, oddly enough, it is a garden tool. And also a vehicle. So you could so the use of the word hoe is actually in relation to the actual construction.
That's why you have to follow up with operator at the end of that.
Well,
or you could say your father was the hoe operator.
Oh man, that's that could that is like a triple entendre.
As long as you use the word garden hoe and not just the singular, I think that works. You call people garden hoes.
I mean, that could also be describing someone who absolutely loves gardening.
Yeah, absolutely. Like
Cannonball.
they have an affinity for gardening.
Hey, I'd probably like if I wanted to call someone someone good for gardening, I'd probably the biggest compliment you could give them is being tough.
Hmm. You know,
If you know Avatar.
one of the things I absolutely adore. By the way, I was just reminded that you're in Australia. I love varying slang from nation to nation. I think it's really fascinating hearing other like countries and what they use for like nicknames, slang, curse words, whatever. I've always thought that was kind of fun. And believe it or not, this love of this stemmed from a game that is based in Australia. Can you guess the game?
Oh, a
No.
little trivia. Let's go.
It's a action platformer from the early 2000s, and it was a
Oh,
series of now I think 4 games, 5 if you count the Facebook game, but
the
I don't
I
count.
never really played platformers, so I wouldn't know.
Facebook game?
Ah, yeah,
Farmville.
it was
I'm just
stupid.
kidding.
No, it was real
Just
stupid.
kidding. You said
Yeah.
Facebook game.
So it's by a little company by the name of Chrome Studios, and it was called Ty the Tasmanian Tiger. So,
Oh,
Oh, wow.
mm-hmm.
I used to
funny
play
enough,
that on the Xbox.
I know people who were from Chrome Studios, um,
I love them
but
so much.
the only
Wow.
game that I remember them for is actually Chrome Hounds because
Mm-hmm.
during that time when they had Chrome Hounds those games, I was actually asking them for game development advice
Yeah.
because I had two people from the company. They actually linked me back to their original. So they actually have had a website, and I don't know if it's around anymore. But they had a website with their original uni project on it, which was basically like the before Chrome Hound stuff,
Yeah.
where you're literally in little vehicles chasing around this big giant behemoth vehicle and
I
trying
think
to
I think I remember this website because yeah, vaguely.
but yeah, they've literally got a demo to their uni work, which was before they started the company, and it literally was like I think it was the vehicle version of Chrome Hounds where you got to kill Goliath vehicles with the little Mad Max cars that you were driving. Um,
That's
and
cool.
it's actually kind of cool
I used to play
because
the TY on the original Xbox. And I remember when I was playing it, my like pseudo cousins at the time,
Mm-hmm.
they couldn't beat it, and I had made it my
Right.
goal to beat the game, and got all the way to the final boss. And wasn't it like turkeys or something were the bad guy?
Boss Cass. Yeah, he's a cassowary.
Yes, yes. Wow, that's
So
amazing.
I have it on the GameCube, and the reason why I got it was because my cousin, who's actually his name is Jesse. Jesse.
Hey, look at that.
He literally they would him and his brother Tyler would come down to visit every summer, and we'd stay in our grandmother's condo on the beach. Um, and they at one point we had the GameCube. This was well after my grandmother had passed away though, but we still owned the condo. And we brought the GameCube out, and then he was like, "I'm gonna bring this game that I got that I don't really like, but I think you're gonna love." And it was Ty the Tasmanian Tiger,
No doubt.
and hit. And I literally the game is just filled with Australian slang, and like
Ah.
words for other words that I was just like, this is so cool. I love this, and the music is just a bop. Like I can hear the music in my head right now.
I like how you said this. The music is a bop. I am
It's a bop.
totally. I'm liking that. That's good.
And all of the soundtracks are actually on Spotify. I think it's by like
Oh, no shit.
George Stematops. I cannot pronounce his last name correctly.
Steminopoulos.
Yes, it's something really,
Okay.
yeah,
It was
really
just a
interesting.
wild guess.
But it's good music. It's got all kinds of like it's got guitars, it's got drums, it's got didgeridoos, all kinds of stuff.
All the
But
didgeridoo.
yeah,
I always liked his different like boomerangs you could use.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Should I ask him for money? Oh
Pretty
no.
much always.
You know what's crazy? My pseudo cousin's name is Tyler.
Oh, that's funny.
What a crazy coincidence.
Crazy coincidence. Oh, hi. J
What's
game.
up?
So, let's see. Let's see. I'm gonna ask for money. I had to sneak into a cellar. There were dragonflies in there.
Your life wasn't in danger. There was dragon flies. They were everywhere.
Listen,
It was inundated.
every time I talk about dragonflies, I remember that one time when I was on an airboat in the Everglades and a dragonfly hit me at full speed,
Oh,
right in the face, and I don't. It was not.
damn.
It's funny enough talking about that though. I was actually laughing about the fact that when at one time at work, we basically were, I in this certain place that I was working, we used to have like 300 seagulls around us all the time,
Ooh, seagulls.
and I'm not even kidding. Seagulls, yeah.
300 of them?
Yeah, like
Were they like
between
fighting off the Persian seagulls?
No, they were constantly trying to scavenge from the site. So basically, when we had 300 seagulls running around, the fun part was the fact that basically you could end up getting hit by them, which is weird because you don't usually get bird strike at ground level. But yeah, it's just funny getting hit by birds when you're walking around a site and it's like, first time ever it happened.
That's why you
I've
have
never
your hard
actually
hat
been.
and your PPE.
Well, the hard hat was literally wrote on the hard hat because we don't use hard hats in that workplace
Oh.
because it's not needed whatsoever usually. But the hard hat I was wearing, the thing I wrote on it was bird crap protector.
Perfect. Seagull.
Because with all the seagulls that like buzz around us, literally you were more. There was nothing. There was no falling tools or anything else. It was always the seagulls dropping food scraps or random stuff on you, or they're pooping on you, or the ibises pooping on you. So
I heard it's good luck.
Not at this frequency.
I am not as terrified of getting like pooped on by birds anymore because we don't get a lot of seagulls at work. We get a lot of grackles, which are small black birds with yellow eyes.
Oh, interesting.
But I do have a slight concern about getting hit by a bird while on a roller coaster.
Yeah, that would be a concern. I don't know why they would even be close to the roller coaster, considering.
I just keep remembering when they opened that one roller coaster at that one theme park, and Fabio was riding it for some strange reason.
Oh, that's right.
And he got hit by a bird.
The bird they couldn't help himself. He's just so handsome.
Obliterated. I know.
That's just they were flying around. They're like, oh my god, is that Fabio? I gotta get a closer look, and boom, right in his face.
Look at that magnificent hair of his.
Oh my goodness, that must have been what drew the bird in. It's like, oh, look at all
Must
that
have.
that nesting material just floating in the air.
I think it broke his. You're right. One of my people in my chat just brought up. I think it broke his nose.
It did.
I remember there was like blood all over him from like the bird, not from him.
Yeah.
So
I'm vividly remembering this as well, and
those poor ladies that were riding with him though must have been traumatized.
ah man, they just couldn't believe it wasn't butter. So bad. Yeah, that is actually terrifying.
Oh
To
my
get hit
god.
by a bird. I think the one that scared me as a kid, and it might have been like an unrealistic fear, but was being sucked out of my seat, and then
Yeah.
I heard about a kid getting sucked out of his seat. I was like, well, there it is. Yep, it's not unrealistic fear. It is actually legit.
I think statistically, it is unlikely,
Yeah,
given safety standards of today. But
right.
maybe
G-forces
20, 30
are
years
there for a
ago,
reason.
they are. They 100% are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Newton would agree that
The
gravity is gonna work.
the problem is that with many devices, the restraint is built for like one size fits all. Um, and getting sucked out of your seat, the problem is that due to that one size fits all, they don't have any really adjustable straps. They're usually just big bars that come down and hold you in.
And that is why we have adaptable seating now, and all that kind of stuff.
Thank
For the most
goodness.
part. Oh, well, okay. I have to read this from one of my people in my chat, which is I attracted an entire murder of crows at my work by feeding them. We came out after work one day to like 20 crows just chilling. Just chilling. No one knows to this day that it was me, and I still feed them. I love that so much. I used to do the same in my previous location, and all of the crows and the grackles would come and see me. No lie, one of them landed on my head once, and
Aww.
I just walked around with it while I was
Aww.
back at house, and everyone was like, "Rachel, there is a crow on your head." And I go, "I know. His name is Jeffrey."
There we go.
I love crows.
I was
I love
glad that you
ravens
named him.
more, but I love crows. Oh, he's cold.
The question is, why Jeffrey?
Because no one's
I don't
afraid
know.
of a Jeffrey.
That's just the name that stuck out to me. It's like when you name an inanimate object. Like you pick up a really nice rock, and his name is Bob.
Yeah,
I would call him Persephonus. Something silly.
I would call the crow Darkness, but the problem is that I've seen Konosuba, so there's I know what to expect from that problem.
My sweet little dog has been looking at me for like 5 minutes, so I'm taking a dog pet break right now.
He wants to sit on your lap. It's attention time.
Odd question, but like, have you guys seen Konosuba at all?
Kind of what?
I've likely heard of it, but
Oh,
I will say, it's an anime, correct?
it's an anime where basically nearly every one of the characters is useless. The main characters, all of them are basically useless. But the way that they fight is comedically funny because you've got Darkness, who is basically if you insult them, they go weak at the knees, and then basically any sort of like harm, they're invincible. They're basically invincible. You've got a wizard who can only use one piece of magic once a day. You've got a healer who basically has a whole bunch of different buffs, but they're useless otherwise. Their brain isn't there. And then you've got the main character who's basically the only good skills they have is being a thief.
Oh.
But they're kind of like the party leader. So they can't. Their damage output is mediocre.
Is it supposed to be like is that supposed to be like the character flaws make the story richer, or is it
Oh,
just that they suck?
it's a really good series. I will say that. Like instantly, it is a great series. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's like you become concerned at that you could easily become concerned at how the characters are. Like in the last episode, the main character was asked to marry the Darkness, and his response to that was, I don't wish to be penalized.
Damn. Damn. That. So, did you solve the mystery behind the one-eyed statue?
I did.
Oh,
I
look
got
at
it.
this shot. Look at that view. That is beautiful.
Isn't it though? Like, so if you enter photo mode here, you can actually take the entire character out.
Really?
And you can also hide the NPCs. You can add a frame, logo, time of day, and you can change the season.
Wow,
Well.
photo mode's really in depth on that.
So winter makes it all snowy. Spring makes it, well, it's kind of hard to see because it's nighttime right now. But then once you get out of photo mode, you can't just change the time of day or the season whenever you want. Which I was like, come on, y'all. But They gave it to us somehow. Um,
Yeah, multiplayer in that game, which I understand would be incredibly hard for them to build in post-launch, but a server, a separate server, or some kind of a version of the game that you can purchase just to play multiplayer
mhm.
would be hell cool. I would definitely join
So
you
in
guys in
this
some Hogwarts
Right. So
shenanigans.
in this game, you start as a fifth year, and with the way that it ends, it is open ended enough for them to continue it on.
Okay.
So they feasibly have at least two more games that they can do with sixth year, seventh year, and then if they wanted to go beyond that, then yeah. But the good thing about the Harry Potter games is you could just use the same map from every game and then add other things onto it
Yeah.
like later. So they already have their base, and that's what they did for that's what EA did when they were developing all the other Potter games. So the same engine and the same map and everything is used in Sorcerer's Stone and Chamber of Secrets on the GameCube. Uh, of course, everything after that was much different for the most part, um, except for games for the fifth book and the sixth book, or the fifth movie and the sixth movie, because it uses the same map. Now, what was really cool about those is I play those on PS2 or PS3,
Oh my goodness.
and yeah, I know. And they didn't have any loading screens except for one particular part,
Wow.
because yeah, it was very impressive. But it was very collectathon exploring and stuff like that. So I imagine they'd use a similar mindset here, where we already have Hogwarts. We All we got to do is just add stuff onto it.
Yeah, that would make
Um,
sense. If you've seen anything from EA, yeah, considering like
yeah,
FIFA and NFL
yeah,
games, they just
hmm
recycle. It's super easy for
yeah.
them.
And I mean, and years and years and years ago, that was really smart to do. Um, oh my goodness, one of my friends is here. Hello, Ray. So,
Hello. Hello, believe in fate.
hello, nice. How are you, buddy?
Welcome, guys. Welcome, welcome. Please, and if you're watching the stream and you're not watching Rachel, you should go right there to Twitch, find Outrageous. I will leave a link to her channel in my comment section when we're done with this video. Currently, I'm working on the pier. I'm just doing some soil moving and really enjoying it. Rach is out there in Hogwarts right now, solving mysteries and fighting. I guess not fighting anybody. Who would you be fighting against, though, since you're Slytherin?
Um, there's dark wizards that come up and try to attack me. There's all kinds of creatures and stuff like that. Um, and
Dark wizards. Wow.
yes,
Not Death Eaters?
and friends that are watching me. If you don't give you should give Jesse a follow at Grey Wolf Construction.
Yes.
He's building a pier right now,
I'm,
so
I'm
it's pretty
building a
cool.
pier that Godzilla will eventually destroy.
Oh,
In
that's cool.
fact, yeah. This
We
is
like we like I like Godzilla. Is it it's is have you ever
Godzilla minus one, minus zero, zero minus.
I've not I have not watched that yet,
Okay, I
I
won't
have.
spoil it for you. It was incredibly good. I won't
It's
say
good.
anything more than that.
but
I can definitely say that's not exactly a spoiler or anything. It's linked to the Skull Island
mm.
stuff.
Ooh.
So
Is it really?
if you watch, I think it was the minus the. Is that the yeah? Hold on, give me a
I'm not
second.
thinking. No, no, I'm not. No, not the Godzilla that's linked to King Kong and all that stuff. Minus one. It goes back to the roots, and even if you look at the way Godzilla is created in the movie, it goes back to what the design would have looked like
Oh,
in the way that the Japanese originally envisioned Godzilla. So it's
Oh.
really true to the material and just tells a great story. I wasn't crying at the end. You were crying at the end, and that's all I'm gonna say.
okay. It might have been the other Godzilla
Yeah,
series.
you're thinking of the
This
Godzilla X and Godzilla Kong.
Yeah.
Uh,
In
uh,
that HBO what is that? Whatever it called, the Monarch thing.
Monarch. That was it.
Yes.
The
Yes. Thank you, Ray, for this subscription. I appreciate you.
oh, 11 months. My goodness, that is a
Mm-hmm.
commitment.
He's a good friend.
Thank you, Raven,
Monarch
for the
Legacy of
commitment.
Monsters.
I love. Yes.
Yeah.
I love level friends. And Ray, thank you for tuning in. I hope your workout went well. Say hello to your other half for me. Give her my love. And pet the dog.
But there's a lot of the new Godzilla series is trying to link into the fate between like how the Skull Island is now linked into the universe a lot more, and
They're trying to do the monsters, the world monsters thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, cross
no,
branding and
the dual planets, the
Oh.
alternate dimension kind of like thing. They're
Oh.
right.
trying to bring that into all of the series.
Like, didn't they have Mecha Godzilla as well in one of those movies?
I think so, but I don't think it had a big role.
Yeah.
I actually feel it had like a tiny role comparatively because I can't even remember Mecha Godzilla being
Ooh.
a challenge.
Look at this setting though. Where are you at right now? Are you in town?
I'm in Hogsmeade.
Okay, these guys just got kicked out of the bar.
Out of Zonko's, actually, they stole fireworks. So,
Oops. They're getting they're getting suspended from school. Actually, that's one reason that I wasn't like a big fan of Godzilla. Boo me now. Go ahead, boo. It was too fantastic. I don't know. It just felt kind of silly. Like the Godzilla from 1998 was pretty cool. I liked how grounded that was. And then minus one came out, and had I not seen a review about how grounded it was and how it made Godzilla the bad guy again, or I probably wouldn't have watched it. But there was a good review about it, and I was like,
yeah.
okay, curiosity's peaked. And mind you, Godzilla vs Kong was also coming out at this time, and I was not interested in watching
Right.
a giant lizard fight a giant gorilla. You know, I like stories that are kind of based in, or at least grounded in some way in reality that could be possible.
I
So what do you?
think. Where do I? I'm just exploring right now.
Okay,
Every time I come to Hogsmeade, I have to look at Honeydukes, just because that's one of my homes away from homes, and then of course Dervish and Bangs, that are quite literally my home away from home.
oh,
So yeah. So every time I go in here, I'm like Dervish and Bangs, and then I go inside, I'm like, where do you? Oh lord. Sometimes the wait. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, sorry. I never knew this guy's name, but I guess his name is Thaddeus Travert. Ooh,
that
that
sounds familiar.
okay, so the last name Travers, that is a very familiar name in
Yeah, Thaddeus does sound very familiar.
the last name Travers. I think they were part of the ministry. Is he Death Eater? Okay,
Yeah,
I'll have to
right.
remember. I think so. Probably. There's too much to remember. Waste. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa,
What's happening?
whoa. Ray gifting the 2 subs.
Yo,
Um,
let's
yeah,
go.
heck yeah.
Let's go. Is that Believe in Fate?
Mm,
Look
appreciate
at
you,
that.
Ray.
Number one.
So
You're gonna make
I'm
me
gonna have
want to
to
compete.
I actually have to change that animation now that I know the gift like sub thing. I'll have to go into my settings and change that because I was like, oh, that does not go with the vibe. Yeah, Good Friday. It is a Good Friday. Oh, I'm excited for my weekend plans actually. Miss you too. Next time you come down, let me know. We had fun at Universal that day, and I hope your leg is better this time.
Oh, that's a story.
Yeah.
What happened to the leg?
Oh,
She get.
I'll let him tell that. So.
They missed leg day, you know.
Oh, oh no. Oh, it is much better. Good. I'm so glad. That was rough. Woman has such a name. Clementine Willardsy.
Wow.
Oh yeah, so Ray crashed his one wheel going 18 miles an hour
Oof.
and banged up his leg real good.
Oof. Yeah, when you get into an accident, you find out that anything above 5 miles an hour, even 5 miles an hour, it's a, it does a significant amount of damage to the body.
It does. It does. The human body is not built for high speed.
No, when I crashed my motorcycle for the first time, it
Oof.
was such a simple accident, and I wasn't wearing a helmet either. So uh, it was raining. I pulled into my driveway, and I hit the foot brake too hard and
Oh no.
started to lose the back tire. So when I stabilized and hit the front brake, I went over the front of the bike, and then it was so slow too. It was like so slow and dumb and clumsy. But I hit my head, tipped the bike over, and gave myself like a minor concussion. And that was only at like 5 miles an hour, maybe.
Yeah.
So, and that was enough for me to call to work that day too. And I was like, God dang it. But the second time I did it, thankfully because of my first experience, I was wearing a helmet and I
Hmm.
was jetting to work and I went around a corner and instead of doing the proper thing, which is to go wide and then cut in, I was kind of going wide, but then I hit the accelerator, which caused me to go even like closer to the curb. And when my tires caught the curb, I again dumped the bike, flipped over the handlebars, and slid down the road. And thankfully, with the motorcycle gloves and the helmet, I only
Yeah.
had like a road rash on my shoulder. But and that was probably only at like I want to say 25 miles per hour, maybe 30. And yeah, so 18 miles an hour on a one wheel. I'm sure he wasn't wearing a helmet. Um, just bailed out. I'm assuming just bailed, and then did you break your leg or did you just get it scuffed up real bad?
So Ray wasn't wearing a helmet, but years of skateboarding taught him how to take a fall and protect his
Yeah,
head. He
you
didn't
like
break his leg, but it was it was it was it was real banged up. You were wearing like a brace and a
oh
wrap that day,
oh
but it was rough. I'm very thankful that I have never actually broken a bone. And I have been in quite a few situations where I should have broken a bone. I should have broken like almost all the bones in my foot when somebody very much larger than me and heavy like fell on my foot.
they
And but it just ended up bruising the bone tissue on top of my foot, so I had to have
oh
it wrapped for a couple of weeks, and I used crutches and all that to keep weight off of it. And that was in middle school. I also, when I was a kid, I jumped out of a two-story treehouse to get away from a wasp.
wow
Uh, yep, fell on my feet, perfectly fine.
wow thank goodness.
I've been in several car accidents, none of which were my fault.
Okay.
Um, and been was perfectly fine other than some bruising. This last one where some was actually here, and that's why I got my nice blue car now. Um, Someone rear-ended me, and I had about 2 seconds to essentially make a decision of what I was going to do. Less than a second, really. So I braced my arms and wrenched my wheel all the way to the left.
Okay.
And I prevented myself from getting whiplash.
Okay.
My airbags did not deploy, and the
Oh,
person they did not. It did not deploy.
wow.
And the person in front of me only got a slight ding on their bumper
Because you turned the steering wheel.
because I turned the steering wheel as hard as I
Oh,
could
man.
into the curb. Yep. So, but I was able to, do
And
that.
no
Ooh, oh,
broken bones from that either. I mean,
no,
no airbag, just braced
no.
arms. As soon as you said braced your arms, I'm like, ooh, that can't be good.
So I
'Cause-
was bracing my arms in a way where I knew I was going to be thrown forward, but I
yeah.
like locked my elbow so I wasn't thrown back. So I
Okay.
just kind of stood there, like I just kind of was there. Um, so I was good. I was fine. Ooh, I can't. Couldn't go that way. But yeah. So, and I've been in quite a few other like things too, where I'm like, wow, I should have been really hurt doing that, but I was not.
What if you find out later on, like, you are indestructible?
I might be. I don't know. Oh, balls. button. I'm not prepared for combat right now.
Don't know how to jump. Don't know how to fight.
Listen, okay? It's been a while since I've played this game. Situational awareness for the win. Yes, exactly. Where's these spiders?
So you've seen them coming too. That's got to be like a little disheartening. You're like, oh god damn it, this is gonna happen. There's nothing I can do about it. Best I can do is try to, minimize the damage.
And there was another wreck that I was in. Not actually that it was that same vehicle, but this was before like my vehicle was destroyed. Um. Oh crap. Damn. Okay.
Oh, you just get smoked.
Yeah, I'm getting smoked. Mainly because I'm in a area that I'm probably not supposed to be in yet. Um, but there's this I was coming home from, God, where was I coming home from? I was coming home from, just the store. Um, and I was coming down this road and I was headed back to my house, and this, lady pulled out in front of me, and it's a 2-lane road, so I don't have much choice on what to do. Either I don't do anything and I hit her head on,
Yeah.
I veer off to the left and I head into oncoming traffic,
Ooh.
or I veer the other way and slow down as much as I can without causing someone behind me to rear end me. And I managed to do that, and she dinged my door real bad, and then we pull off. Turns out she doesn't speak much English. She spoke like Creole or something like that. So
Oh.
that was interesting.
Oh.
But like people, and you know what really irked me though? Plenty of people saw this. The people coming the other way, the people behind me, the people in front of us.
And no one.
Nobody stopped. Nobody, because nobody wanted to be involved at
Oh.
all. So, and okay, Gray says, "Oh, and my crash happened because of the speed wobble and couldn't recover, so I bailed."
Oh, the speed
Yeah,
wobble.
the speed
Yeah, the
wobble.
damn speed
Yeah.
wobble. Yeah, that's brutal. I've had the speed wobble when I was going through a tunnel, but I was going downhill and I was accelerating, and then the car in front of me decided that they were afraid of the tunnel and hit the brakes. So then I
Mm-hmm.
hit the brakes because I have nowhere to go except for into the back of them. And again, the back tire started to slide out from underneath me. But fortunately, I had the experience at this point to, just be in control, let off the accelerator, pull the clutch, and lots of speed wobbling and sliding, and thankfully no accident because I'm pretty sure the guy heard. It was like, okay, drive, 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 drive.
Yeah.
Don't be scared of the tunnel. Could you imagine having like extreme claustrophobia and then having to drive through a tunnel and then halfway down you're like, okay, I can't do this.
Yeah. So, oh God, it just reminds me of the Mississippi Tunnel, the tunnel that we had to take to go and visit my family in Mississippi, and and there was a few instances where people were like, ah, and I'm like, it's just a tunnel, calm down.
Yeah.
So I'm actually gonna be right back because
Hey, we'll keep you
huh?
busy. We'll keep the chat busy. So
Bathroom
guys,
break.
in the chat, tell me what is your worst fear? Like,
Oh
what
my
is your
God.
biggest fear? Like immobilizing fear. I'll tell you mine. My worst fear is 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 like waking up with spiders in my blankets and I can't get out. Like I have nowhere to go, just spiders. Um, for some reason it's asking me to verify my phone number still, so I can't leave anything in the chat itself. Driving down the road and having spiders on my windshield, it sucks. Yeah, that's happened to me once, and that I pulled over, man. I got out of the car. I'm like, where is it? Where is it? I was like Batman with Joker. Where is she? Ah, there it is. Looking for the gravel here. Yeah, sleeping bag zipped up full of spiders. Like that, yeah, fuck that. I mean, excuse me, flower that. No way. No way. No way. God, I'm thinking about it. It's like, no. Ugh.
So I gotta know the fear conversations that I missed while I was gone.
Yes. My biggest fear is like, well, spiders, kind of freak me out. Um,
Oh, okay. So I probably should have turned on the mode that is not giant acromantulas. One of those
oh,
spiders I was just battling.
bring it on. Bring it on. There was that's video games like don't. I mean, it's more like real life spiders, and I still
Oh,
try to
okay.
battle with it. Um, I can remember. Okay, so my biggest fear would be to be tied up or wrapped up by spider webs and then
Hmm.
inundated with spiders. So what
Okay. I know what you're talking about. Like in the Lord of the Rings movie where Frodo gets wrapped up by the giant
yes.
spider thing.
Oh
Okay.
God,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that would mess me up. When I seen that
I
scene too, it like struck a fear in me. I was like, oh,
trying to think what. Um, there's not really much that I am afraid of, like in actuality, except for I get kind of stressed out during really bad storms after living through a Category 5 hurricane that
oh, I love
nearly
storms
killed
though.
everybody in my town, basically.
Damn.
So that was and Ray, you were around for that. Literally, I think you remember. Like everybody was messaging everybody, trying to figure out where I was because we had no cell service, nothing. If you look up like pictures of Mexico Beach from around that time in 2018 when Hurricane Michael hit, um, literally the giant towers that were cell service, um,
They were knocked over.
were ripped out of the ground,
Oh,
ripped out of wires everywhere. Mexico Beach was basically destroyed, and I was only like an hour or two west of Mexico Beach.
oh man.
And I couldn't respond to anybody. So finally, I think a few of y'all, from like Instagram, messaged the producer of the podcast that I work for, messaged Rev, because if I had called anybody, it probably would have been him to let him know I'm alive because I work for them. So,
Ah, clever then.
I did. I did because the only person who had cell service was my father's rinky-dinky flip phone that uses consumer cellular, the old person
Ah,
like cell service.
came in
So
clutch.
came in clutch, exactly. So that was the only way that I could get in contact to anybody. So I remember as soon as the storm passed, my parents called like our family, like called my Aunt Pat, my Aunt Susan, like all that. And then I immediately took the phone, called my best friend, who worked in law enforcement at the time, and he was like, "Thank God you called me because I was about to come to your house with an axe to get you out." And I was like, "No need. We've got generators. Whatever. We're fine.
He's like,
Come
can I
out and
still
check
come
the
over with the
house."
axe though and like knock your door down anyways? I really want to do that.
He once all of the power line stuff was turned out, he did come in with a
Oh,
giant pair
okay.
of clippers and get our cars out because power lines were draped over them, but the
Ooh.
power was out, so we were in danger of
Oh, okay, that's
electrocution.
good. That's
So
But
good.
they were heavy, so yeah.
one of the things when like one of the things you totally should do,
Mm-hmm.
and probably anyone should have,
Yeah.
um, less than $60. Go get yourself go get yourself a little UHF radio, like the
Yep.
truckers radios.
Yeah.
Because the thing is that even if phone lines, power lines, whatever, everything is down, those radios are usually on solar, or they can be run off basically a car battery.
Yeah.
The point being is that
So your biggest fear? Yeah, go ahead. I mean UHF radio. Is like a survival kit,
Yeah, yeah,
basically.
yeah.
It's essential.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
So those radios, 1,000%, go get them because they're less than $60. You can buy a few of them. They've got 10-kilometer range, which is pretty damn far.
Yeah.
You know, so and the thing is that if you actually even read up about like what the channels are for in any manual, like for your state, there is always, and I mean always, an emergency channel designed for, like, if you get in this situation and you're on that channel, police always monitor that channel. Like,
yeah.
you
Yeah.
will always have emergency services available to you on that specific channel. And for Australia, it's like channel 11. And so if I basically called out on channel 11 for emergency services or anything, they would hear me 1,000%. Like every single
Yeah.
emergency service in within 10 kilometers
So your
is
biggest
monitoring.
fear comes from dealing with a hurricane. So you get scared with
So-
storms.
So, like, I actually am not really bothered by storms anymore. Not as much unless it gets really windy. But like, I remember when I first started working where I work now, and I was in one of the, like, rooms off to the side that has a big window. That's where we display certain items and all that kind of stuff. And there was a really bad storm going on outside. And, all the guests came inside to get out of the rain. It was really crowded, and I'm just standing there by the window because that was my position. I had to keep an eye on these collectibles, and I'm watching the wind outside, and one of our team captains, like my essentially a boss of mine, just watched the light leave my eyes as I watched an umbrella get taken off into the sky. Like, and this is the big umbrella. This is one of those big, like, ones that you see outside of restaurants, and he just literally just pulled me away from the window and goes, go upstairs. Go stand in the little room up there for a little bit.
Did
And
he?
I'm like, okay, thanks.
He's seen
So-
he's seen the fear in your eyes, like
Yeah. And
you're
it
having
wasn't even fear,
flashbacks.
It was just flashbacks. But like, yeah. So I mean, then that was terrifying, and I don't want that kind of repeat experience ever, 100%.
What is your
The only thing that I will scream and run away from, like on site, wasp.
Oh,
Anything
okay.
that buzzes and can sting me, I will use anybody around me as a human shield.
See,
No lie.
see-
Throw you to the wolves.
Your chat has some interesting ones in there. I would love for you to
Yes.
read out loud
Yes. Okay.
before
so
I go on my tirade.
Yes. J Game Z says I have a rational fear of getting kidnapped every time I travel out of the country, and I assume everyone being friendly to me is trying to kidnap me.
That is definitely irrational.
That is a rational fear, actually. Because of traffic.
I'm on the other side of that. I'm like, okay, that's
Yeah, that is rational, like 100%. I'd say women are more in danger of it than men.
Yeah.
But 100% rational fear. Unrealistic scenario, but nightmare of mine, says Ray, is being locked in a small, filthy bathroom and suddenly millions of roaches start pouring out of the
Ooh.
drains. Oh
Ooh.
my god. Oh no. I'd also hate that.
Oi.
No lie, when I was still living in my townhouse up in Panama City, I called my best friend over to kill a cockroach because he lived just down the road. Because this thing was nearly as big as my hand, and it flew. It was also on the wall, too high that I could not reach it.
Yep.
Basically, when it comes to cockroaches, this is actually the best thing to know.
They
Cockroaches,
smell
moths, bugs. No.
They smell fear. They
Between all
smell
of them,
fear.
the best thing you should know is that basically, it doesn't matter what the bug, there is always a very simple solution to deal with them, and that is
Shoe?
no. Shoes are actually shoes are actually one of the ones that like require you to get close to them. I have a much better solution. It's called a vacuum cleaner.
Ah,
yes,
okay.
100%.
Okay. Yeah, I've
So a
actually
vacuum
used that
cleaner-
before to clean up insects in my house. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna put you outside now so that the other insects and birds can eat you, because that's a waste. I'm not gonna let you just.
So the vacuum
get
cleaner
killed.
definitely is the best option because if you use a vacuum cleaner to knock out a bug, 1,000%, that bug can no longer do anything to you, and B, even if it tries to fly away, there's suction and it has a long pole.
Yeah.
And
So
yeah.
So what's your
I
what's your
agree.
biggest fear?
I agree with you there. But Ray has brought up a good point. And he would like to add flamethrower.
Yes, exactly.
Probably not worth the collateral damage, but I can jive with that
When it
flamethrower.
comes to wasps, I'm sure you would not even think
Oh,
twice.
literally, me and someone I used to know used to joke. If a wasp got in my house and I could not find it, I'd probably burn the house down. Like, nope, the house is done for. Gotta either move, set it on fire.
Yep.
It's done. It's done for.
See, wasps and stuff like that don't bother me so much. I know as a kid I was absolutely mortified for whatever reason. Short story here. When we were kids, we used to think that everything was a butterfly, and then
Oh.
uh, my stepfather explained to us that no, that hornet is not a butterfly that will sting you and could possibly kill you, or something along the lines. So at that point, anything flying absolutely terrified us, and even like a plane in the sky would have us up against the wall screaming bee, 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 like just ridiculous, like bloody murder. So um, once, I don't know how my our parents shook us of that, but when we lived in northern Michigan, we had a lot of bald-headed hornets, and we were clearing the land to build a house. So the naturally the bald-headed hornets are pissed that we're trudging up their nests, and they don't sting you; they just bite you. So it's like getting stung, but they can just keep doing it. And we
That
learned,
reminds me of black flies and yellow flies coming
yeah,
to Beach Town. Yeah.
flies, yeah, those flies suck. Just flick them, punch them in the face, like get out of here, uppercut their nostrils. But these bald-headed hornets would pinch you and bite you, and I learned very quickly, you could swat them away, but they'll come back and keep doing it. So I just started grabbing them, like full fisted, just grabbing and grabbing them and throwing them down, and I would just
Mm-hmm.
they would keep coming on. So I got really used to the pain, and they didn't scare me anymore. But spiders, on the other hand, fuck. I don't want them biting me. I don't want them poisoning me. I've seen what brown recluses can do. Like, no, thank you. Keep your big old eyes and your nasty
So
fangs away from me.
part of my duties at work include some cleaning of things,
Uh
and a lot of times I encounter a lot of cobwebs and spider webs.
huh.
But we get daddy long legs mainly, and I try not to kill them. I try to relocate them or just
Right,
discourage them from continuing to build webs because they are really good for the environment and they do keep the bug population down.
right,
Um, but it's just one of those things that I'm like, buddy, you gotta stop coming back. You keep having to destroy your web.
right.
So
Kind of feel bad.
yeah. Ooh,
Yeah,
I love the music here.
it's like with hornets nests. When I see like hornets nests being built, I'm like, probably not a good place to put that hornet's nest because that's where I have my laundry, and that's not happening. Not sharing my
Well,
laundry space with you.
have you seen the like? I think it's a cup of the water cup trick, where you put like a cup of water over the hornet's nest or the wasp nest, and they just basically, because they're without oxygen, they go to investigate, and then they just drown in the water.
No shit. Well,
Yeah.
that seems
So
humane.
the 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 best way to ever deal with any sort of hornets, because you've probably watched that little nature YouTube channel that the dude pisses off an American hornet, and these things are basically the most vicious things in the world that
Oh,
come
dude.
back and
Oh,
chase you down and attack you.
they have flown straight out of the devil's rear. Those are what
Yeah,
they
no.
are.
But the point being is that
They're
with
like
some
John
of those
Wick
hornets
for
or some
for
of those
hornets.
some of those bugs, I've always found the best idea is to smoke them. Literally,
Well, yeah,
just
yeah. Smoking
if
them is actually what beekeepers do too, to try to get them to like
they do, yeah, yeah,
docile and
basically, you want to make the environment inhospitable to them without your actual involvement in touching or going too close to them. Um, so what I found is that there's many ways to literally make a nice lot of smoke without any fire. Um,
how do you do that
and so
without fire? I know
Without,
there's like
okay, so
I know there's
without a
like
lot of
cans
fire.
of
No, no,
smoke you can buy, cans of smoke and
no.
stuff.
There's actually an easy way. So what I used to do, right, is I used to get a whole bunch of this thick paper towel, and
Okay.
even though you can light it on fire, what you can do is that once it is starting on fire, if you blow out the actual fire, it'll ember.
Oh
And
right, yeah, yeah. The embers will
the
produce
embers will
enough smoke for
continue
sure.
burning away at it without fire and create a ton of smoke. And so you can actually use stuff like that where it's basically if you've got like a if you got like, you know, not a dog thrower, not a dog ball thrower, you know, those things. I'm thinking like if you're able to find a way to contain the smoke in a in any sort of like little metal bin or something and put it underneath the wasps, that smoke will literally go up and it will smell like there's a fire. The wasps will do what they do in a fire and just, you know, evacuate, run away.
Yeah,
And then you
What is
Ray
this?
just
This
responded, you never want to squish a wasp outside of a nest, outside of a nest is nearby because it will release pheromones that will aggro all the other wasps.
Yeah.
It's like, my
Yeah.
name is, Wasp Dingo Montoya. You killed my father, prepare to die.
but once you smoke the wasps away from the nest, what you do is, depending on the size of the nest, you either get a big ass firecracker and explode it in it because the wasps are, you know, smoked out. That's one way. Otherwise, you do what exactly the other people did, which is basically they wheel a tiny barbecue under it, they put a whole bunch of fire starter in it, and then they just let it off, and the entire thing creates a huge cloud of smoke straight into the wasp nest, and then puts it on fire.
So
That's the
what's
problem,
your
you know?
unrealistic fear? Like what's your biggest fear,
What's
Seeker?
my one?
Yeah. That's what this is
Uh,
all about. I love
Weird
that
thing
you're like an
is that
encyclopedia of knowledge and you're like a encyclopedia of knowledge and life hacks.
one
I
of the
mean, he's
things
from
that I've had.
Australia. That
He
that
deals
place
with
is
this on a
deadly.
daily, right? He's
No,
like, "Do you
no.
know how we deal with
Funny thing is,
snakes?"
oh no. I found a snake at when I was in military camp. You know, like the little military camps. We were doing training and shit. It was called cadets. Yeah. So when I was doing that, I was the one who found the bloody snake under a log. Thing is that not really scared of snakes, spiders, wasps, hornets, whatever. Not
What
really
are you?
scared of
What are you
anything.
scared of?
I've picked up a snake and put it in a box at work and took it out into the
Yeah,
grounds.
snakes don't bother me either.
Me too. I
Spiders,
found a
though.
snake nearby. I actually found a whiptail, which is part of a
Oh,
a
look
small
who it
snake in
is.
Australia. They're less than 30
Are you
centimeters
in
long.
Are you getting your hair cut?
I was in there, yeah, but I'm not doing anything. I was just stealing the money off the counter.
Did you steal?
Yeah. You do that. It's Skyrim tactics, you know.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
Link in a house, but breaking pots.
Ah, yes.
Uh,
Good old Zelda.
but
Miss that
yes,
game.
fear-wise, I don't know what I'm scared of anymore because, like, once you've kind of like, once you've
There's got to be
found
something.
like all
There's
the
got to be something unrealistic or, outlandish or kind of like I don't know, like possessed grandmas.
See, that's the problem. I don't know what I'd be scared of anymore because, like, once you rationalize fear and figure out, like, hey, it's fear. You know, it's kind of like, I don't have a fear of needles. I don't have a fear of surgery. I don't have a fear of like dentals. I don't have fear of like that death.
Oh, I used to.
Just...
I used to be terrified of the dentist. I had a very bad experience with a dentist once, and now that I have a good dentist, I'm not really bothered by the dentist anymore.
But the reason why I'm not scared of these things anymore is because basically, thing is that I think I wouldn't say I'm scared of. The thing I'd regret the most if I ever was to die is not finishing the anime series I really want to see at the time. You know?
Damn.
Like, if I was to die,
Brutal.
it's kind of like, hey, I'd love to finish that isekai series I saw.
The only thing that kind of pseudo bothers me right now, and this is like just a thought that wormed its way into my brain like last month, was what if something happens to me before I see the Beetlejuice sequel?
Oh,
And
don't think that. God.
I would never. I would literally wherever the next
You would
life is.
you would come back.
I would come back. I would
Yeah.
literally haunt
You would
a
poltergeist a
theater.
theater for sure.
I would 100%
You'd be throwing
possess
popcorn and
somebody
stuff.
just to see it.
You'd be the
Yeah,
shenanigans.
that's me. I would do that. Yeah,
I often think about
100%.
that as well, like with CS1 here, the game I'm playing. It's like how many of us were waiting for the follow-up to the old game and all the excitement and speculation and all that stuff, and then you know they don't they don't make it to see it because I'm sure that at some point and there's enough people out there that someone didn't make it, and I feel bad for them, and I play the game in their honor and their memory. But yeah, that is actually a really logical fear. That's a
Yeah.
truly scary thing to think of.
Well, Ray's immediate response was, "Yeah, that tracks." Everybody who has known me for more than a couple of weeks knows.
Yeah,
Well,
that
I mean, well, people who have known me like a long time understand the depth of my love
for
for Beetlejuice and
Beetlejuice.
that
Yeah,
franchise. Oh, you'll truly understand one day, Jesse.
we'll
Like
have to see it.
you'll all of a sudden
It's
get
coming
it.
out in September.
Um, yeah, September 6th.
Okay, I'll make
Um,
sure I'm open for that.
Oh, I literally told my friends, if you don't have anyone to see it with, please let me know. I will see it with you. And they're like, even if you're seeing
She's
it
gonna see
multiple
the
times,
movie like 8 times.
and I'm like, I am absolutely gonna see it multiple times. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna fund the success of this movie
I was
myself.
gonna say the box
Oh,
office hit. Beetlejuice has hit its trade. It's hit a Hollywood historic mark. 68 million in the opening night. 100,000 of that from one person. Jeez, oh Pete, that's yeah,
by the
that's a
way,
really truly rational one.
guys, if you look at the channel, there's a webcam on at the moment. Have a look at this.
Oh Lord, hold on. The channel? Which channel?
Oh my goodness, Seeker,
The
put that
channel
away.
watching. Yes, I have a weapon of mass destruction.
I'm not even sure.
Oh, is that what you call it?
It's a key. Aww.
A weapon of mass destruction. A weapon of mass cuteness. Yeah, those things, those if they could talk, would definitely rule the world.
Look, it's got murder mittens. See?
Aww,
She's got little socks. She's got little socks. So,
I love it.
It's
Look
a
at it.
fancy little kitty.
and she's got like a little bow tie on her neck. She's got
Aww.
like a light bow tie.
And Ray, I feel you. I have to live long enough to watch The Last of Us season 2. So
But yeah,
I heard that that show was really good too.
So I was not really into the game for whatever reason, other than watching people play through it, because zombie games are not my thing. I actually I don't read or consume or watch most any post-apocalyptic content that includes zombies, just because it's just not my vibe.
Okay, so question though.
Yeah.
What would you do in a zombie apocalypse? Like that's always a question.
Die.
She would die.
I
Yeah,
die.
she would be unprepared completely.
Well, actually, I think I'd be okay for a while, because almost all of my like close friends are ex-military, and almost all of them said, we're listen, if the zombie apocalypse happened, we would come to get you, and you wouldn't have to worry about it until your anxiety made you worry about it.
Yeah.
And I was like, cool, awesome.
Covered.
So
Wouldn't that be day one?
But let's talk about the Last of Us
Yeah.
though, because I haven't played the game, but I did again see some snippets and stuff, and I kind of understand the zombies in that game are frightening. Like
Oh, yeah.
the virus or whatever that is some next level.
So it's rooted in some scientific truth,
Yeah.
with like fungus and stuff like that,
quite
Yeah.
a lot
Ah,
of
good idea.
scientific
Yeah,
truth.
yeah.
which is wild to me and actually kind of potentially terrifying.
Well,
Um,
that's a good grounded story right there. That'll make
Yeah.
me
So-
logically scared.
Yeah.
Guys, the reason why, okay, so just to recap on this, the reason why it is entirely true in terms of like what it could do is because, and this is actually
it a parasite?
This is no, this is actually
The cordyceps
like the
fungus,
actual
yeah.
scientific
Yeah.
discoveries and everything to do with it. So it's based on a very specific fungus that actually. So this specific fungus is actually a thing in real life. It does actually do exactly
To
what it
bugs.
does.
Oh, to bugs.
Yes.
What?
So what
What's
it
it
does.
called?
It has not yet reached its a point in its evolutionary process where it has jumped from bugs to humans, but that is the whole
No,
point of the
no,
last
no, no, no,
book.
no, no, no. It's not
Ah,
evolutionary. The thing is
that's
that
frightening.
okay, the Earth is currently not warm enough, and it has not adapted to the warmth enough that humans are, in danger yet, because the human body is too warm for
Well,
this specific
the Earth is warming up
fungus.
pretty much. So I
Yes,
mean, how
and
long
that's
do you
the
think it'll
problem.
take?
That's the problem, yeah.
How long do you think it'll take? 20
50
years?
years.
50 years? Guessing 50 years? Oh God,
Um,
I'll
well,
be
thing
old
is
by
that
then.
okay,
I might be alive.
by 20,
Uh,
no, no, but that's the thing is that by 2050, right? And this is there is a ton of scientists that are on this same train.
Uh-huh.
In 2050, if we or 2060 or so, one of those two, basically in the next,
Is
30
it the
years
train to
most.
Busan?
No. In the next 30 years, if we do not do something about the, between global warming and all the pollutants and everything that we're doing to the planet,
Yeah.
it is going to cause a thermal runaway.
Yeah.
And what that is, like people who 3D print know what that is. It's where the planet will no longer be able to recover and will continue going in a downward spiral.
Yeah.
So basically, everything will spiral out of control to the point where we can no longer pull the Earth back. It's kind of like saying, "Hey, it's like when
It's
you
kind of like
you
a
leave your
train
handbrake off in
that's
your car."
crashing and you can't stop it.
Yeah, well, I was going to
Yeah.
say more like when you leave your handbrake on in your car and it's rolling down the hill. At some point, it'll get fast enough that you can't catch up,
Yeah.
mhm.
They did talk
and then
about
you
that
just
with
got to let
net
what happens happen.
zero. They were trying to do like net zero, and one scientist was
Yeah,
arguing that even if we did achieve net zero today, the damage that we've done would take, you know, decades, if not
it
millennia, to
it would,
repair.
it would. But
So
the thing is that it'll be
I'm an
slow.
advocate for the assimilation of humans and robots. So yeah, robot fam right here. I'm an automaton sympathizer for sure.
I
Uh,
get that.
yep,
But the
for
thing
sure.
is that it's more so about the fact that if we started today and we reached net zero by 2030, 2040,
Still
if
wouldn't
we
be
reach
enough.
net zero, the whole point is that that would stop the ball rolling forward. The point being is that we have to stop the ball rolling. We've got to put that handbrake on our car before it starts rolling out of control. And the problem is that as long as we do that, as long as we get behind that and actually stop that early enough, which we're trying to do, um, it doesn't matter if, there's a whole bunch of damage. It's the fact that once we stop the car from being able to roll down the hill, the amount of damage it can do is no longer a problem. It will, the
Do you think by the
situation's
time we
recovered.
get the car in park, do you think that by the time we get the car in park, the fungi will have evolved and like, oh well,
No, no,
we
no,
can handle
that's the
human
thing.
bodies now?
The
Oh God, that
2060
would
thing
suck.
isn't about the fungus. Okay, the 2060 is not about the fungus. The point being is that by that point, if we haven't hit net zero or haven't gone near net zero enough, um, the Earth will continue getting hotter. The
Well, of
problems will
course,
keep
yeah,
stacking up, and the thing is that fungus at that point will have that ability to jump.
right.
It will start getting that ability because we can no longer pull it back.
So
The
I've
only
heard
way
that
that
the Among Us is actually like a really good story too, though.
Mm. Now there is actually a way to kind of like reduce the problem on Earth,
Uh-huh.
and a few people, and this is without going. Well, this is even beyond net zero. This is the recovery program after failing is one of the things we can do is find a way to cool down the oceans without venting the heat into the environment.
Ice cubes, gigantic ice cubes.
No, it'd be more so just having a way to easiest solution, and I mean like this is straight out of the Simpsons. Okay,
Okay.
Remember how Mr. Burns created an umbrella big enough that it shaded the entire town?
So we created an umbrella, or
Yes,
paracels.
yes,
Is that what
yes,
they
a
call it?
1000%. Create a solar, create a solar umbrella, basically. But the thing is that here's the fun part about that. Where do you think you need that umbrella in order to cover the entire planet? Do you
In
think you need it
space.
just above the Earth?
No, it's
Yes, but
gonna have to be in
closer to the
space.
sun. You put it at a you try to find a way to put it within the same orbit as the planet, but
Uh-huh.
you put it closer to the sun, so the amount of room that it covers is much bigger. You know what I mean? Like so that the amount of distance, how would you say, is able to just like, hey, we'll cover the planet just by making a big circle out in space there. You know,
What about like ocean
it worked.
lattes? Just we'll
It's
just
like
make a
putting
bunch of like
sunglasses
ice.
on the planet.
We'll just we'll um we'll we'll, we'll get with Starbucks and we'll come up with something that like an iced coffee for the planet. That always
Oh,
cools me
and the
down on a hot
funniest
day.
way,
Perfect.
Exactly.
if you wanted to create an umbrella for the planet, imagine just putting a ton of space junk so that it creates a mesh.
That
You know
would
what I mean?
that could be super problematic.
No, it's like using pollution, right? So you throw trash into space that orbits the planet. You throw so much into it in space that it literally starts blocking out the sun. Hey, look, you just created an umbrella using trash.
Oh, that
Yeah,
actually
but
sounds a really.
there's a fine line between it being good and
I could see that
being
becoming
bad.
our ultimate downfall.
Well, I mean, there is sci-fi shows where there is like a belt around the planet that is much like Earth, where they do have like essentially a bunch of scrap and stuff that's in orbit, and it's a kind of like a controlled orbit, and it protects them from invaders and stuff like that. And they use like magnets and things to get it out of the way and all that.
Yeah,
But
I think our current situation. I mean, with the people that we have in power, it's just you might as well just enjoy life now. And
Well,
if
it
solutions
makes
come down the
sense if
line, it will have to be that we have to evolve as a species, and that's all there is to it.
but it does make sense, mate. Like, think about it. If we use the trash that we're creating to make an umbrella,
You'd
we're
have to.
recycling.
It would take quite a
oh,
bit.
thanks for the bits.
It would take quite a bit of ingenuity to
Humans,
make that safe. Um, but
you
anyways,
know how
but
much humans
back to what I
think.
was really interested in talking about, which is the game or the movie or the show Among Us. Uh, from what I understand, very good, well done, like very
Or The
good
Last of Us.
drama. The Last of Us. Did I say Among Us?
You did.
Yes,
And
you did.
Could you imagine if they made a TV show? This
Oh, they
coming
will.
out this summer, the dramatic experience of space crew. One of them has been
Um,
sabotaging the spaceship the whole time.
you guys do know that like Nicolas Cage, literally recently did the what is it called, the Arcadia movie, um, which was literally de- creatures designed off the idea of what Goofy is.
No, I wasn't aware of that.
I'm yeah. I found out about it. It's stupid. It's
Is it goofy?
think of the stupid. No, think of the stupidest thing you could create as a movie and just kind of like times it by 1,000.
Well, look at once Pooh was a public property, they had Pooh like Pooh Pooh Bear horror movie or something. What was that called? Blood and Honey or
oh
something?
God, that yeah.
Yeah, that's even worse.
Oh my goodness. Oh man.
Anything that becomes open source, I'm just like it makes me nervous and stuff like that. Like anytime. Oh, that was weird. I
Wasn't
had my.
Mickey Mouse the same thing?
Oh Jesus! Don't remind me. Don't remind me.
Steamboat Mickey or something? That's amazing. So, okay. So yeah, back to the zombies and that show. That is actually very terrifying, and it kind of goes back to something else that was
Bye, Ray.
an unrealistic fear of mine, which
Mm.
is like people with needles chasing like needles with like diseases on them chasing me.
Ew.
Yeah,
Yeah.
unrealistic, but absolutely terrifying.
Oh, that actually reminds me. You're talking about basically My Hero Academia, Toga.
I don't know what that is.
It's a character from the series My Hero Academia called Toga, who literally is a chick who uses needles.
With
Um,
diseases on them?
no. She uses needles to basically steal people's identities, and so she can take their forms and their the powers that they have, and
Oh.
use them as she wishes. Because the needles, yeah.
I admittedly don't watch as much anime anymore. Used to watch like a lot, but every now and then I'll
Blasphemy.
Yeah,
like
I'm same
no.
way. I haven't really gotten into any animes after watching Naruto, the Japanese dub version.
Oh, see, I'm lazy and I won't do the like I have to do like English dubs because
Yeah.
I will get distracted and then I will not understand what is being said. Uh so God, what is the last anime that I watched all the way through? I'm thinking. Give me a second. It's on the tip of my tongue. Oh, Ancient Magus Bride. I watched the entirety of the first season, and now I know there's a
Oh,
second.
yes,
So
there is.
it's a good that's a good show. I find it very enjoyable. Um, and then like good when I was in like high school and like elementary school, I watched all the time like Inuyasha, Naruto,
Ah,
um,
okay. Yeah, in Yunasha.
uh, uh,
Basic weeb stuff.
basic weeb stuff. You know, Dragon Ball, um, Urinori Kenshin, Cardcaptor Sakura, naming off like all the oldies. Um, and you can really tell a lot about a person of what baby's first anime was. Nothing like waking up at 2 a.m. with Adult Swim just singing
Oh,
the ending theme to you know, Full Metal Alchemist or
what a
Inuyasha or
great
anything like
show, by
that.
the way, too.
Oh
That's
yeah,
another great like anime.
yeah,
There's just I feel
100%.
like there's so many animes these days. It's like it's almost like it blew up in culture.
Oh,
And
it did,
I blame it
100%.
a lot on like Full Metal Alchemist and Naruto,
Well,
being
like you
huge
know,
hits.
I remember being in like high school and elementary school where if you watched anime, you were made fun of. Like
Right,
you were a weeb and not in a good way. And
right,
now like everybody's watching
right.
anime.
It's kind of
Everybody's
cool to
reading
watch it.
manga. Everybody's playing video games. Everybody has a Twitch channel. And then the weird one coming from like fandom spaces for me because you know I go to cons a lot and I'm involved in those kind of spaces and stuff like that. Reading fan fiction is now considered cool, and
No
I'm like,
way.
yeah, and
Oh
I'm
my
just like,
goodness.
and I'm sitting here going like, all right, we've come full circle.
That's yeah, fan
And I'm like,
reading fan fiction?
yeah, and I'm like, if I was, and hey, it's a good writing exercise too. But like, I literally was like, I would be very popular if I was in high school now.
Be the
Because
bee's
I've checked all
knees.
the boxes for all the cool stuff.
Oh
But
my goodness. They
yeah,
wow. I
yeah,
remember
it's
like
come full circle.
fan fiction was the cringiest stuff you could ever put your eyes on. And if
Mm-hmm.
you wrote fan fiction,
Mm-hmm.
it was almost like, oh God, I don't even want to know like what you do in your
Yeah.
private time.
Yeah, now like authors are coming out of the woodworks like they're like my first thing that I wrote was a fanfic of this book. And I'm like, excuse me? And then
All right.
Neil yeah, and then even Neil Gaiman's like, yeah,
Wow.
do it. And there's not as much stigma around it, which is
That's interesting. I wonder why
I
that is all of a sudden.
life's hard. Life sucks and then you die. That's why. So why
Uh,
waste time? Why waste time like you know, feeling bad for and enjoying what you enjoy, you
yeah,
know?
that's true. That's a
So
good point. but man, oh man, I remember how cringy fanfic used to be. Oh God, it used to be so bad. I'm sure it's
There,
elevated.
there's some stuff now that I'm like, it kind of makes me laugh because there's some stuff now on like the sites that are better written than the original source material.
Whoa.
Yes. Well, there's particular authors that I assign that particularly to.
Yeah.
But some the world grows and the world changes, and there's some really talented people out there. There's half a dozen books out there that have been published in the last like I want to say like 6-7 years that started out as fanfic.
Wow.
Um, and some really not great works too started out as fanfics, including a very popular steamy series that had some movies made.
Are you talking about
Fill in the
50
blank.
Shades?
Mm-hmm. And guess
What?
what
That
that
started as a
started out as?
fanfic?
Mm-hmm. Twilight fanfiction, actually.
Get out.
Yep.
Wow.
And the only
What?
reason I know that is because a friend of mine was a real big fan, and when those books started coming out, she literally was like, "Rachel, I've read this before," and I was like, "You
Oh my
have?"
goodness.
And then she admitted to me what it was, and I was like, "Well, okay."
Wow. So
Um,
who do you think Mr. Grey was? Was that supposed to
m-
be like Edward?
Probably.
Oh my
I don't
goodness.
know. I don't honestly.
Listen,
I
I
don't
like
know any.
vampires. I like the whole like, bite my neck and seduce me kind of stuff, but the one thing that I tried to steer away from, and I used to write a little bit of it when I was in high school, only because I had
Mhm.
read enough to like know how to write it. The one
Yeah.
thing I steer away from as a writer and is smut. Like I just
Oh
don't
yeah.
I don't know. I'm not
Oh
really
yeah.
into it, but some people really enjoy writing smut. I'm just not into it.
Neither am I. Like, I'm not even. I'll read it, but I'm just like, whatever. It's not really adding anything to the story.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
like one of my favorite book series ever, which is a comfort series for me that I read when I don't have anything else to read, is actually the Southern Vampire Mysteries, which is what the show True
Oh.
Blood is based off of.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and it is full of smut, full of it. The book,
Really?
full of it. It's like a dime store Harlequin romance novel, but
Ah,
the backstory and the actual story that's in the books aside from that, excellent, well
yeah.
thought out, wonderful.
The world building was
So,
really good in True Blood too. As much as people might
mhm.
harp on on True Blood, I mean it did kind of fall off towards the end. Uh,
Oh yeah, half of that stuff after season 3,
yeah,
not in the books. Not in
yeah.
the books. It was way
Ah, I
more.
see.
It was way more thought out. Now I was okay with some changes, like Lafayette and how they handled his character in the series. I actually prefer that
Yeah.
um, than to what happened in the books.
Ooh, what happened in the
Um,
books?
oh, he. So do you remember the body that's in the back of the detective's car at the very beginning of season 2?
Oh, I don't recall that. No.
Okay, so there's a body in the back of the detective's car, and it was Miss Jeanette. In the books, that was Lafayette.
Oh,
So he
yeesh.
died at the very beginning of book 2. Yeah.
Wow. I remember like he had that storyline arc with his boyfriend who's like a witch doctor or something or
Yeah.
and then it kind of felt like it went nowhere.
Yeah. I will say
I was a little
the whole
disappointed by the
Billith
character
thing
arc.
was. Yeah, I will say the whole Billith thing was not a thing either.
Bill being a
Oh,
oh, Bill and Lilith.
with the vampire Bible thing that
Oh
happened.
yeah.
I
That
nope,
broke me when I
no.
see when he became like Billith. Is that what you called him? When he
Billith,
became
yeah.
Billith, yeah, I was like,
I
okay,
literally the entire time I disliked Bill more in the series, like the TV series, than I did in the books. I mean, I
yeah,
didn't like him after a point in the books. I had particular characters I was rooting for, and I was not happy with the ending of either. And I was like, hmm. But there was so much in the books that they did not get to include in the series for various reasons. One being there's a vampire by the name of Bubba. Bubba is literally Elvis.
aw,
I'm not even kidding. He's literally Elvis. And in the book series, they tell the story of how this happened, which is the person at the funeral parlor, the assistant, I guess,
Uh-huh.
at the mortuary, was like, was a big fan and detected still a spark of life left in him and decided to bring him over. But when you bring somebody who's 99% dead over to the vampire side, things don't go quite right. So Bubba's not quite right. So you can't call him his actual name. You just call him Bubba. So to my knowledge, they wanted to do this, but they did not receive permission from his estate to do this
Oh.
based on the how his character was represented.
Yeah.
The
Which makes
licensing
sense.
and the rules for how that's written in books is a little bit different. It
Yeah.
wasn't exactly said that this was him, but they
It was
called him the
implied.
Mental.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was implied. Whereas a couple years later, another series I love, What We Do in the Shadows, also vampires, they were able to use Elvis blatantly as a vampire and call him Elvis because he was just Elvis. And he was
Ah. So they
using
got
Laszlo's
permission.
recording studio. Yeah, they got, and I'm not sure if the rules were different, but I just thought that was really bizarre. All these years later, I'm like, we got a vampire Elvis. It wasn't in the series I thought I'd be in.
Could you imagine if they make a vampire Tupac or something?
Oh my god. But there was there was some other stuff in the books that I was like, oh, this is weird, but this is interesting. Like, in the books, whereas in the TV series, Eric's maker was Godric, which was I became fine with this
I
because
like
it
that.
kind of humanized Eric in a way with
Yeah.
how he behaved toward
Yeah.
Godric with this very intense love and adoration, and that was really cool, and he was very loyal to him. Whereas in the book, his maker was a Roman Roman vampire named Appius Livius Ocella, or was he Greek? I don't remember. And he was not a good guy, not a good man at all. Hate him, loathe him entirely. But Eric's maker had other, like, obviously made other vampires, and one of them was Alexei Romanov, the
That
little
sounds
boy.
familiar.
Yeah, he's the Romanov from like Anastasia, Alexei,
That sounds.
Russian royals. Yeah.
Oh.
So
I was like, why does that
he
sound
made.
familiar? Wow.
Yep. So that's what that was. But
Interesting.
anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, I do
No.
think I recall someone saying that it was like a Roman general or an officer or something like that,
Yeah. No. All
aristocrat.
kinds of changes, and I was fine with that in
Yeah,
the
it was
TV series
it
with
was
them.
well done. With Godric, it did humanize Eric a lot because
Yeah.
up until that point you're like, God, this guy's so insufferable and such an ass. Like,
Mm.
and then I think
Oh, he's even funnier in the books.
is he really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was quite an interesting character because I remember watching some of True Blood and then um, already having this preconceived notion about him and liking his character. But then watching the show again and seeing it from beginning to yeah, beginning to end, I was like, God damn, Eric is he's mean. Like, wow, how do they deal with this guy? How did he become so
Mm.
cool? And then I watched the series through, and I'm like, ah, I see the character arc. Okay,
Yeah, he's got some layers to him
yeah.
for sure.
Like an ogre.
And like an ogre,
And onions.
exactly. Yeah. No, the God, actually one of my text tones. Oh, hi Hoff.
Hey,
Yeah. So I was laughing because like I lost my train of thought. Okay, give me a second. It'll come back.
was it about Eric?
And just,
Nope.
don't
It's
worry,
gone.
you'll find the station soon enough.
The train took off without me.
Yeah, you're at the station.
Yeah.
What about Pamela? I liked her.
Oh, I got it. Thank you. You reminded me from Pam. My text tone, one of my text tones that I have, is literally a line that Pam says in the show, which is blah blah vampire emergency blah, which is I love that.
That's one of your ringtones.
It's one of my text tones, and
That's
I
your
put
text
it.
tone.
I usually use it during like Halloween.
Yeah,
So.
I would love that. Blah blah vampire emergency blah. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if you get a text like that, you're like, oh, sorry, my vampire friend. Hold on. Yeah.
I would find it funnier if you used the vampire the ringtone of Vlad from like Hotel Transylvania saying vampires don't say blah blah blah.
Yeah.
That would be a
Oh,
great like
You know
counter
that one.
text.
I have so many good text tones, like so many. Um, my normal text tone is I call it. Oh Lord, she's I've got voice in my ear from the game. Is my current one, which is literally Misha Collins saying in the Castiel voice, "Hey, you got a text,"
I
which
remember hearing that for the first time.
mhm, which freaks everybody out the first time they hear it, and I
It
go, "Oh, it's
did.
just my pocket Misha."
It did. It did. It got me too. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
When I
and
heard
they're
it, I was
like,
like,
"Oh,
whoa,
it's yeah."
pocket. So explain to us who this person is in case there's anyone here who doesn't know.
Oh, okay. So one of my favorite shows on television is this is your first time going on to my stream and hearing me talk about this. Favorite shows on television is Supernatural. Um, it ran for 15 seasons. Hopefully, they will do a 16th season soon. All signs are pointing to that they probably will do some kind of miniseries or a movie or something. Never say never.
Animated series.
They already had an animated series.
Oh geez.
Do you remember the anime? They had one.
No, I don't. That's why I said that.
Ah,
And now you've
wh-
learned something. I've taught you something here.
I
so
didn't
you're,
know there was an animated series.
There was. It was
Damn.
actually anime versions of the first couple episodes. I think it had like 8 episodes, maybe 6. Um, I think they were all on YouTube.
and
But
who's Mishka in the series?
so Misha Collins plays my favorite character, Castiel. Castiel is an angel.
Ah,
So he's just a little guy. He's not a little guy. But it's just a good show. He's just this kind of um, really okay. He's a powerful dude, just but also kind of socially awkward too. I watched through season 4 of Supernatural, and then Modern Family took me hostage. Yeah, yeah, that sounds about right. I admittedly watched um, up through season 4 as it came out. Then I took a break, and then I caught up on Hulu while they still had it on Hulu. And then when I caught up, I was watching the episodes as they came out again. Um, some of those seasons went really off the rails. I must say that. But
which ones with Modern Family or Supernatural?
Supernatural.
Ah, okay.
Some of them because there's a whole bunch of discourse that I could really get into about
Oh, and you could
why.
tell, you could see it like in the show.
Oh yeah, like well, it's so the thing is that was one of those shows that you know how nowadays the writers are really in control of what's going on and they don't really answer to anybody.
Yeah.
Um, Back then, they had to really answer to the network because it was on the CW. Before it was the CW, it was
Ah,
the WB channel. So that's where Smallville uh, aired and all of that. So
Charmed.
all the old DC stuff was on the WB channel and what became CW. Um, all kinds of things, but they really had to answer to the network on most of their content. And for whatever reason, with that show, even though dozens of other shows on that particular channel could do almost whatever they wanted within reason, that show um, uh,
They were getting a lot of
uh,
restrictions, or
the network had Supernatural by the short and curlies, 100%.
they're short and
So,
curlies.
yep,
Oh
yeah,
my
they had
goodness.
they had a lot of sway on. Nope, you can't do this. No, you can't do
Ah.
that. So writers very much had to sneak a lot of stuff um,
Oh.
by being very under the radar
Yeah.
kind of thing. But like, um, and TV is not the same now. Like I think an average season now is somewhere between 8 and 14 episodes, and 14 is being generous.
Yeah, 14
Most
does sound like
thing,
a lot.
yeah, but I'm also factoring in like other networks. So this is a lot of like TVs produced for American television or for streaming, somewhere between 8 to 10 episodes. Um, Television produced, say, in Australia or the UK or Canada, they tend to have longer seasons. I don't know why. It's just what I've noticed.
Maybe the content
So,
is better, or
I
Maybe
don't
they.
know. I'm not sure. I know Doctor Who tends to have still the longer format seasons.
Yeah.
One of my other favorite show on television that is still airing actual new seasons is a Canadian show by the name of Murdoch Mysteries.
Oh, it sounds
They
familiar.
still have longer seasons. I want to say the last season they did was like 20 episodes.
Wow.
So their seasons somewhere range between, I think the shortest one was 17 episodes.
Did you ever see the show Once?
Like Once is in Once Upon a Time, or just
Yeah, I
Once?
think it was called Once, but it was Once Upon a Time. It was basically like the Disney
Oh yeah.
live action version.
Oh yeah. I
Oh
watched
my
that.
God. I didn't
Wild.
realize, wow, how many episodes and
Mhm.
seasons. And at
Mhm.
one point, I was like trudging through it. I'm like, I just got to see what happens to. I
Okay.
can't.
So the very last season, most people just ignore because it's so. It turns. Oh. Oh. Ooh. Hello.
Are you?
Thanks for the follow, Hoff.
Hey,
Appreciate you. I somehow shrunk my notification thing for whatever reason. Very strange. I'll have to fool around with that next time I turn
Streamlabs.
this on. Yeah. Um, all of my little alerts, they should all be set to default. So regardless of who sends bits, I should have the same animation. But it's not working like that for some strange reason. It's very weird. But
We were talking about Once.
Once Upon a Time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
So
last season.
yeah,
Last season. Oof.
the one thing that kind of threw me was how they did Rumpelstiltskin, and
Rumble.
Rumpelstiltskin.
he had this character arc, like, and same with the Dark Queen and stuff. It just felt like they threw away a lot of the character work that they did for the sake of shock value.
Yeah. I will say, out of all of the characters in there, Rumple is probably one of the better
Yeah,
written ones.
yeah,
I
absolutely.
did, I did, like nothing. I can still remember like watching some of those episodes live as they came out,
Hmm.
and the realization when that they had when Belle there, I was like, oh gosh, Rumpelstiltskin's the Beast, and then he was literally the Beast, and I was like, oh, okay,
Oh,
yeah. So
yeah,
like that was kind of a creative way of doing that fairy tale,
yeah.
while still keeping one the fairy tale, but also having Rumple there
Who
involved,
the
and that makeup though, oh, like I've seen people cosplay him, and he has been on my list of characters to cosplay just because I think it would be not super difficult outfit wise, but makeup wise would be very challenging,
yeah.
and I like that. But I talked to some friends who have cosplayed him before, and they were like, Rachel, for whatever reason, that just the way that they got his skin to glisten that way,
Yeah,
nobody can get it right, and
they can't
nobody can figure
recreate
it
it.
out. And some people have gotten very close, but they use some kind of special technique, I guess, and
I used to always think it was just like
nobody.
gold glitter or something. It's really that difficult.
It's a combination of things, 100%.
Huh. Yeah, and he's a great actor too. I didn't realize that he was in 28 Days Later or 28 Weeks Later. I didn't realize he was in other movies that I had watched later on. I was like, oh shit, that's Rumpelstiltskin. It's so funny when you watch something that someone, you associate them with a different movie, or the show that you first see them in.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was a point where I was trudging through once, and to go back to your episodes uh, rant there, yeah, there was so many episodes. When I was looking at it, it was getting to a slow point in the show. I was like, okay, how many seasons are left? 20. I was something like 20 seasons. I was like, Jesus, and 28 episodes each. Oh God. So
Yeah.
when you said uh, your favorite show is Supernatural, it's like 15 seasons, and there's what, like
Yeah.
20 episodes a season?
So, for the most part, yeah. I think the shortest season was, I think, 16, um episodes, and that was season 3.
Oh, okay.
Um, so, ooh, big yawn. Um, but yeah,
How?
so at average, I want to say it had like 20, 20 to 22 episode seasons.
Wow.
But I mean, they do a pretty good job at keeping the action going. And
Yeah.
yeah, every show has their filler episodes, so there's some silly stuff. But there is like one episode of that show that I tell people you do not have to watch any of the rest of the show to enjoy this episode, because it's just that good. And it's Scooby Natural. It's a crossover with
Scooby
Scooby Doo.
Natural.
It is literally a crossover with Scooby Doo, where they get sucked into an episode
Oh, that's
of
cute.
Scooby Doo, and it is great. It is absolutely great, and I love it.
Scooby Natural. I might have to watch that now. Hoff, what is one of your like most unrealistic fears?
We're asking everybody, by the
Yes, we
way.
must know. If you have an unrealistic fear, please leave it in the comments below. I'd love to read it and find out.
We get a okay.
And what are you currently doing right now, Rach?
I'm doing this like little background thing, but I'm trying to remember how to use a potion, and I don't remember now because I it's been ages since I played this game.
At least this is an
Uh,
exercise in relearning the game as well.
it is 100%. It is. Okay, that's how I do that. No, I'm hitting the wrong buttons. Inventory?
Now, do you play any scary games at all?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
Really?
But I'll watch other people play scary games.
I played some scary games, but I tell you right now, I do scream. So, for the sake of my neighbors and roommates and people living in the vicinity of my voice, I've ceased playing scary games for that reason. But I do
Yes.
enjoy playing a scary game. Like The Forest was one of them, and it looked like a lot of fun. Like you just build your own hut. I spent way too much time trying to build like the maximum hut, and I
Mm-hmm.
got murdered for it. Um, Granny was another game, very low budget, easy escape game, like puzzle escape game, and that one
Yeah.
has a gigantic spider in it, which I didn't know. I had no clue. So there's real-time footage of me getting absolutely frightened because of this giant spider in a game.
I have a escape game that you'd love. Is I expect you to die.
Sounds good. Expect
It
you
is
to die.
it's actually a puzzle game where basically like it's literally by the name of like I expect you to die,
Uh-huh.
but it's also really good in the way that they've done everything because like while they do expect you to die multiple times solving all the puzzles
Oh, so
because
it's
there
kind of
are
like,
quite a
is
lot
it
of
kind of like
puzzles.
funny, like quirky,
Yeah,
or is
yeah,
it
yeah.
really
It's funny and
serious?
quirky
Okay.
because no, it's funny and quirky because you're basically this spy, right? Who's either on a train or in a spaceship or whatever. But the thing is that um, since 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 you're pretty much in VR all this time, um, you don't have much room to move around and do stuff. So everything is kind of like within your vicinity. So it's an escape room where you're in a seat
Ah,
and
okay.
you've got to figure out like certain parts to the puzzle from that one position. And the way that they've made it is very versatile in the way they've come
Like a
up with all
VR
the
game
little puzzle
works.
details.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is a real escape room in the sense, but that's why they say they expect you to die because they don't expect you to like do it the first time. They expect
Yeah.
it to be like, hey, you'll figure this part out and maybe this part out, but then this part's going to take you by surprise.
There's a couple
But in
of
all,
escape room games I tried playing that were like horror puzzle games, and I could figure out most of the puzzles, but I still would be stuck on like one part. I'd spend hours, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just not even gonna do it. you're gonna make the puzzle that difficult. I mean, I get like, okay, the piano has something over here, and I gotta put this puzzle on the wall there, and okay, this says this, and then I unlock that, and it opens up this, and then I find a note. Okay, so I have to play My Little Lamb on the piano to open up the next thing. Cool, I figured it out. But then there were some that were just so like ridiculous that you couldn't figure it out. It's like, what do I need to, what am I doing wrong?
I get that.
Like one of them I got stuck in for real, and I felt like I was getting pretty far, and I got so stuck on it. I was like, there's nothing activate. I think it was Lucius or something I was playing, and I'm like, God dang it. Skyrim's puzzles
There's a
though
lot.
are so freaking simple, man. Almost,
So
almost like
when I was in
So
stupid simple.
when I was in high school, I played. My friend Alicia was really into Silent Hill, and I remember for
Oh,
a couple of weekends, she brought she came over to my house and brought the Silent Hill games. We played
oh
them, and
man.
those to me, I don't know why they weren't scary, but they just were not scary to me for whatever reason. I don't know why.
They,
Um,
ooh.
but they, I mean, they were creepy. So
Yeah, creepy.
I love the creepy vibes like that. My one of the best television shows that I've ever watched was a mini series by the name of Kingdom Hospital. Um, it's a Stephen King series, and it gave me the same vibes. It was along those vibes, like um, and like I remember telling her about it. I said, "Oh man, if you love these games, you should watch Kingdom Hospital." And she was like, "I absolutely will." And at the time, they you could only get them like on Netflix by having them send the DVD to you instead of like, streaming wasn't really, it was the thing, but it wasn't yet, you know.
Yeah.
And so she was like, "Yeah, okay, I'll check them out," and she did. But no, I played Silent Hill. I remember playing a little bit of Amnesia: The Dark Descent. I don't know if you
Oh,
remember
that was a
that.
game that really took off the horror genre too,
Oh,
or at
it
least
really
streamers that
was.
were doing it.
Oh, 100%. Definitely on YouTube.
Yeah.
I still quote some of the old YouTube videos from Amnesia: The Dark Descent, which is, "Oh, I got a bag of Milky Ways." Like, like all kind of, and nobody gets the references because nobody's seen those videos with me. Um, but
Fair
I
enough.
remember watching other people play all of those games and all that. Like, I have no problem watching other people play scary games, but I'm not.
You
I don't
personally,
do that
yeah.
personally. I just don't. Um, I don't. I don't. I'm not a scaredy cat, but I don't. They the the fact that I know that there will be a jump scare. I just don't know where the jump scare is going to be.
Yeah.
Makes me nervous and anxious, and it stresses me out
It,
when I
I was
play
gonna say,
games.
knowing that it's coming, I was gonna say it doesn't make you like uh anticipate it and it doesn't scare you as much, but in fact the
No, it
opposite
ticks me. It
happens.
just ticks me off because I don't know where it's going to be, and I'm anticipating it all the time. So I have no way of actually knowing when it's going to be, if
Oh,
that makes sense. Whereas, so when you're going through like a haunted house at, say, Horror Nights or Hollow Scream, I can anticipate where it's going to be because I know that there's going to be boo holes and people are going to pop out of it. I don't get
ah,
scared of those because
yeah,
they're predictable.
yeah.
They're all on a timer based on the sound or how many people are being
Like,
pulsed through the house.
ah,
But games, I'm just like, like I remember I tried to play Outlast with a friend of mine, and I was like, "Nope, you could play. I don't want to know. You could." And he's like, "Come on, you won't play." And he knew exactly what my problem was, and I was like, "Nope, nope, nope. I've had enough of this. You play it."
what about Lethal Company? You know, it's such a simple game,
Oh, I love
but
Lethal
oh
Company. It's
my
so
goodness,
funny.
that game had me like sweating.
Now
We
that's something we could play together. That would be
Okay,
fun.
we'll
I have
definitely have to
that.
do that. The thing is, I was playing with someone who's well, he knew what he was doing, so it kind of took like the element of fear away from some of the situations.
Yeah,
He'd be like,
yeah.
okay, well this thing right here, you just gotta like not look at it. And I'm like, okay, well now it's not scary anymore. And oh right here, just don't move too fast. And I'm like, okay, stop telling me what's gonna happen. I want to get genuinely scared. Like I don't know what's happening, and please let it happen
There.
naturally.
So there's a podcast that I record with some friends of mine, and
Oh,
they're all a bunch of like older guys in tech, and they're like my big brothers, like all of them are. And every time they're like, "We want to play some Lethal Company," and I'm like, "It's 11 o'clock at night. I could play for maybe like an hour." And they're like, "All right." And there was one particular part where all four of us were playing, and all of them died except for me. And I was
Oh.
like, "Hello, guys." Guys, and then they're all like, "Oh, I hope she's getting back to the ship. She better get back to that thing is following her." And I'm like,
Oh no.
I'm gonna go back to the ship. I've got one item, and it's a rock." and, and I get back, and as I'm getting into the ship, the monster is like right there, and it's this thing with this huge nose. And
Oh.
I'm like, and I'm pressing like the button to like take off, and then finally they come back into the chat, and they're like, "Rachel, that thing was following you for like 10
Oh
minutes."
my
And
god.
I was like,
That
like
game
it
is
was,
so freaky.
yeah.
Like
So it
there
is.
was one time I was going through there and we were inside one of the buildings and I walk around a corner because I have Kunis like I'm like, what the fuck is that sound? What is that? What the hell is that? And I go around
Yeah.
a corner and there's this like alien bug thing and I scream and I'm like, oh my god! And I run back the other way towards one of my buddies. He's like, what? I was like, there's an alien over there. There's an alien over there. He's like, what are you talking about? I was like, there's an alien. I seen it. And he goes over there and I watch him go around a corner and point his flashlight in the direction. He's like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, you know, you're messing with me, right? And so I walk over
There
there
he
and look,
goes.
and there's nothing. There's nothing there. I'm like, what the fuck? And so he leaves me, and then I'm like wandering around, and then I turn around, and there it is again, and it kills me. And all they get is me going, ah! And it's like, that's it.
Yeah. Like,
Wait,
oh,
wait, wait. Have you played? Okay, so if you play, if you do play that game, one thing you should totally play in terms of it is, oh crap. If you're going to play Lethal Company, 1000% get a mod.
Here we
Always.
go with the mods again.
Um, no, no, no. This is good. This is good. This is
Don't
good.
don't hate me.
Lethal
I'm a
Company.
mod hater a little bit, just a tiny bit.
Yeah, no, but
But
Lethal
okay.
Company has a specific mod
Uh-huh.
which you will probably enjoy the crap out of. Because the thing is that this specific little mod that I'm telling you to like, you know, go explore is the one called schizophrenia.
So it makes you see things that aren't actually there.
Yes.
Oh,
oh
see,
no.
I don't even need that. The game already. There was one point I was playing the game alone because I didn't have anyone to play with, and I'm walking through the interior of a building, and I hear, "Hello." I was like, "What the fuck? There's someone here with me? There's someone here with me?" And it was actually an alien pretending to be a person, and that blew me
Yeah, no.
away. That,
That is
Um,
that is so spooky. My
yeah,
God.
that was creepy.
the
Yeah, that game is scary.
schizophrenia mod. Um, if I remember right, I do remember there was one specific mod that allows you, like, it only the well with schizophrenia. Just saying, the whole point of that specific mod is so that if you're running around the map doing whatever, um, pretty much you will not know if the enemies are actually there or not.
Yeah, I couldn't do that. No
Um,
way. It's hard enough with them there, or just knowing the presence of them is scary
Mm-hmm.
enough. Like what's the one that like stomps around and like chases you down? That thing, yeah, there's and it opens the doors or the spider. I mean, there's so many things that make that game freaky enough without mods. Like I just I love it for what it is, and we'll definitely have to play it and see how many times I scream. We'll have a scream counter.
I'm looking forward to playing Sea of Thieves for sure.
Yeah, you see
That will
the
be.
new updates are coming out. People that were hating on Sea of Thieves are actually really liking it now.
So what's interesting about it is like I've played it for years, and I really like some of the DLC that has come out for it. They have a Pirate's Life one, which is based around Pirates of the Caribbean, which is amazing. And then they have another one which is based on the Monkey Island games, which I don't know if you
No,
ever
I'm not
heard of those
familiar.
or played those. Oh, classic point and click adventure games from way back in the day. And I haven't
Oh,
finished the last episode of that one, But I they did a teaser for it in one of the episodes of the Pirates of the Caribbean one, and I literally was like, "This is Monkey Island. They have to do a Monkey Island thing. They're gonna do a Monkey Island thing. Like, they're gonna do it." 3 years later, they did a
Ah,
Monkey Island thing, and I was like, "I told you, all y'all didn't believe me," but like, um, that's what it was. But no, it's fun,
they have a
and
new one coming out.
I myself am not like super into player versus player content on that.
Yeah.
I'm more
Same
into
here.
just PVE and treasure hunting
Ah,
and daily
yeah, me
activities
too.
and the stories and the tall tales, all of that. That's what I'm into. So they instituted something called Safer Seas. So there's servers now that are specifically, there's not really much PvP in it, so it makes for a much um, more relaxing experience with
Yeah.
your adventure, which makes it more fun for players like me that don't care to do um, the actual piracy part of piracy uh, in the game. So,
Yeah, some people just grief too. Like they're just
oh, it's awful.
powerful. Like I
Yeah,
just want to go and ruin someone's day today.
like I literally like at one point I was playing with some friends. We were just dicking around. We were being real nice and friendly to everybody, and we had and this one guy kept coming after us,
Oh yeah.
like several times. And I at one point like type in the chat because like we didn't have proximity chat turned on, so we could
Yeah.
hear him but he couldn't hear us.
Yeah.
And I just typed it. I'm like, who peed in your cornflakes? Did you get fired from your job or something today? Like, really, what is your problem? Why are you taking it
Yeah.
out on me? Um, and then the guy like logged out. So I think
Oh yeah, you must have hit a nerve.
I think I hit a nerve.
His
I
wife
asked him.
divorced him.
I had hit, like asked several questions. I was like, "Why are you like?" I called him out, like, and
Yeah.
well deserved because he was being a dick for no apparent reason.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
ooh,
that's always unfortunate. Like, and
yeah.
that's why I like a game that has a PvE element. It's not forcing you to PvP people. Um, especially when it's an adventure game. The only time I've seen griefing in construction simulator is when someone dug a moat around the house that I was working on. Yeah,
How
I was
dare
getting
they?
material and they had an excavator on site and they were digging all the soil away from the entrance and then they dug all the soil away from the house itself so that you couldn't even set the material down. You couldn't get onto the construction site. Like I came back
That's
and
so
they're like
rude.
3/4 of the way done and I'm like, what? Why? Why?
It's like I can't believe you've done this.
Yes. What is your deal? Holy crap.
Some people, man. Some people. Oh,
Yeah.
it's
Oh
like, what
wow.
outfit do I want to put on now?
That is. We're gonna need a bigger. Well, actually, we're gonna use the crane. We're gonna use the cement bucket for this part because that's not gonna work with the concrete pump we're using. No sir. Let's go ahead. Map bucket.
And I'm gonna go to flying class. Doo, doo, doo,
Oh,
doo, doo.
that's right. It's daytime now, right?
Okay. Yes, it is daytime now.
Yeah, I think flying in the daytime is a little bit safer than flying at night. What's your favorite animal? Wasn't that a bat, or am I thinking of someone else?
It is a bat. Yes.
Ah, yes. Very interesting. So, how did you come across a bat being your favorite animal? Does it have something to do with the vampires, or?
Um, partially. But when I was a kid, a fruit bat escaped from the zoo,
Mm.
and I found it in the palm tree and behind my house.
Oh,
And I had to call the zoo. And I was like, I found the bat, and they're like, where is it? And I'm like, well, it was just in my palm tree, and here's the address. It flew off in this direction toward here. They were eventually able to find it,
yeah.
um, but it got really far because the zoo was out on the beach, and I
Dang.
was in town. So it flew far, and it had been missing for a few days. But it was still one of those things that I was like, "Hmm,
Fruit bats
it's a
are cute,
bat.
though.
It was a cute little fruit bat.
Yeah. I think I could sympathize with a fruit bat. I remember seeing images of bats and being like, "Whoa, that's ugly." Uh, specifically, like, what was it called, the vampire bat, or
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I was like, oh,
I
that
think
is
they're
not
all
pretty
kind
at
of
all.
cute.
But
I think they're all kind of cute in their own weird way.
yeah, fruit bats
Like,
though, on the other hand, are like, I like the
yeah,
fruit bat.
yeah, they're flying foxes. They look like
Yeah,
puppies with wings.
most of the bats do look like that too. The vampire bat's the only one that has that pushed in nose kind of, to me, like very fugly looking, unappealing bat look. But like you say, they're all cute in their own way. I remember having a dream when I was a kid, and I think this came off the back of watching Fern Gully. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm and I remember this dream vividly and forevermore. I'm walking down the street at night, and
Mm,
I pass under a tree that the overhanging branches are covering the street,
yeah.
and a bat jumps down, like a Batman human, something like that, like grabs me, bites my neck, and turns me into a bat person. And the next thing I know, it's like a full moon, and we're all like doing some kind of choreographed dance, and I'm
Oh.
saying some kind of like slick one-liner, and then we fly away into the night. And I woke up, and I was like,
Oh.
I woke up, I was like, let me go back, please take me back. And I
That's wild.
Yeah, it was a really strange dream. Like I can remember it vividly, and I'm not giving you all the best details because it's just too convoluted. Doesn't really matter. The point is, I think from that dream came my fascination or my uh fan fantasization fantasization.
Yeah.
Thank you. Of vampires, of being like bitten on the neck and turned
Eh.
and all that stuff.
But let me see.
What's your favorite animal, Seeker?
Uh, oh, that's a hard one.
Great job
There's so
flying,
many
by
good
the way.
animals to choose from.
yeah, there's way too many to like say there's any specific favorite. Um, like so, yeah, I couldn't really choose any
Really?
specific
That's so
one.
interesting.
Nah.
I'm always fascinated by people who don't have
Uh,
a favorite animal.
it's because thing is that there's a lot of animals out there, and
There's not one that speaks to you, like not one that you would associate. If you had to be one animal, what would it be? Like if you had to, okay, tomorrow you have to be this animal for the rest of your life. Like what would you choose?
well, too many animals have up and down sides to them, and so you can't really just choose one. Like, it depends on the okay. It depends on the time of in terms of like century, because these
We'll
days,
say any
animals are just
century. Like you
common
have
enough.
your limitless possibilities. Let's say. I'm really curious.
I'd go
What
isekai with that stuff. I would totally go isekai with that stuff.
Sakai?
Isekai, like
Isekai.
I'd go other world with the animals in terms of like which one I'd choose
Perfect. So what's an
at that
isekai?
point because uh wait, you it's not an animal. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Isekai means other world. So basically, like you would you'd want something out of fantasy, not something like here.
So what's your favorite fantasy animal then?
Uh, hmm.
I'm really
I
asking some hardball questions right now. I'm sorry.
well the okay, so just based on like one of the shows that that I was watching this morning,
Uh-huh.
especially like because I'm watching Slime Reincarnated, the anime.
Hmm.
Um, if I was to go with one of the creatures of that world, I'd go with the lizard people because they had they're considered a monster race. Um, so they're not exactly considered human, but I'd just go with demi humans really. Like if you go with the like jobless reincarnation, it would be like the beast people from that because they're actually stupid cool in terms of like the character design.
Yeah.
but the lizard people of that are monsters in that world,
Oof.
their evolutionary state actually makes them like really nice in like what they look like. Because it's when you think animal, you think like a lot of it has too much brainless activity in terms of like
What do you
if
mean?
you ever
Eat,
look at a
sleep,
if you ever
sex? I
look
mean,
at a
that's.
cat.
I mean, excuse me. I mean, eat, sleep, and cuddle for procreation. Procreation, cuddling.
Exactly.
And I liked your
Have
flying,
you,
by the way. You. That's the. I'm just talking about her game for a moment here because this is really the focus of my attention. That flying was really cool.
It is pretty cool.
Do you get to like freely fly around or?
You do, yeah. And at a certain point in the game, you do get to you can fly around and go to different points on the map instead of walking around. You can fly. You can
Cool.
fly using the broom, a hippogriff,
A
thestral, all kinds of
hippogriff?
different things.
No
Yep.
way.
Yep.
Wow. Is this Harry Potter? Is that supposed to be Harry?
No, no, that's
Oh.
for Clopton. No, so
Ah, okay.
this is Hogwarts well before all of that.
Oh, okay.
So this is like he's I think Dumbledore at this point in time where this game is taking place and when is like 8 years old.
What?
So yeah.
Holy moly.
hmm So I mean you'd see some there's some familiar faces. So like a lot of the Hogwarts ghosts are still the same and all of that. So that's
Okay.
not anything different. But like
So they still
more so
they still
just
stay pretty well in canon. Interesting. Favorite anti-hero from from the show or from the books? Um,
oh from
from Harry Potter, yeah.
oh anti-hero.
Anti-hero. Um,
Oh, I
I'm
don't
gonna
know that I.
say I used to think it was oh damn it, who's the prisoner of Azkaban?
Oh, Sirius Black.
Yes, used to think it was him until I watched the part two of Deathly Hollows
Hmm.
and was like, okay, Snape, you made me cry. I love you. Kisses. His whole story was like kind of tragic and a lot of stuff that you don't really notice until you watch the show again.
Right.
Like I didn't even
So
cry
you're
when
talking
Harry
about
died. I cried when Sirius or
You want to hear some? You want to hear some fun? A fun little fact.
sure.
Sirius was not supposed to die actually in Order of the Phoenix.
What?
Supposedly in a earlier draft, you know the scene where Arthur Weasley gets attacked by Nagini the snake.
Mm.
Arthur was not supposed to survive that encounter.
Oh.
I think it would have been an interesting experience for Ron as a character, for him to have lost his father.
Yeah.
Um, and but and I would have been interested in seeing like what would have changed with Harry, with an actual like not a great father figure, but an adult figure in his life other than um, you know
Then
Dumbledore.
Dumbledore. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
So that's a that's an interesting little trivia fact
What
there.
if what do you think it would have been like if Johnny Depp was somehow in the show as well? I mean, as a
Mm,
character, you think it would have
I
been
mean,
good?
they had no way of knowing that like he would have been cast as Grindelwald in the future. So
Oh.
and I think that yeah. So
Oh.
yeah,
That
like
would be. Oh man.
but I don't think
If they would have done it better, I feel like they didn't really do a great job with those follow-ups. Um,
so. There's some things about that which we will talk about not on video.
yeah. Well, I understand
So
too, like with whatever was going on in his personal life, and
yeah.
possibly that there's still a chance that the movies could have a rebound, especially since they're making another Pirates movie with him involved. Yes.
Supposedly, I don't
Yeah.
know. He hasn't. He rather vehemently said no during that whole trial that he'd never be asked back. And honestly, I do not blame him for it.
Yeah.
But there's other reasons why the Fantastic Beasts films did not do as well as they should have.
Yeah.
But I will not talk about those on
On
stream.
stream. I'm curious.
Yeah.
Would love to hear your opinion on that someday, and
Let's see.
find out
Well,
what
we
that
will
is.
talk about
As
neither
a
of them for
as an
me.
avid reader, I'm sure that you have some critical takes, or valid opinions on
Um,
the
the
source
only thing I
material and the
will say,
storytelling.
there's one thing I will say that I can say that just because just if you are an author, that does not mean that you are an effective scriptwriter and
Oh,
understand how that works.
yeah, that's
Um,
true. It's two
there's a
different
difference.
things. Yeah.
So, um, yeah,
Yeah,
but
I would agree.
yeah. No, from really from the very beginning of these books, and I grew up reading these. I absolutely loved them. I first grade, I think, was when I read the first one, and my mother got the books on tape from, like, she bought them, and so I would follow along with Jim Dale as he read it aloud and did the voices and all that, and I would follow along and I'd read it, and I had like a third or fourth grade reading level in the first grade, first and second grade, just from these books. Um, and I remember from the very beginning, like, questioning, like, I was like, I want to know more about pureblood culture. Why do they behave the way that they do? It doesn't make sense to me. It feels like there's something that I am missing. Like, like it feels like there's something missing, and then there's some things that she never quite explained.
Yeah.
Like stuff about the Wizengamot, stuff about all kinds of different things. And we'll probably never know the answers to it, which makes me kind of sad. But
Well,
I
do you think
always
that might be a good thing though too? Because it kind of leaves it open ended, leaves it to the reader's
correct.
imagination.
It does, and it allows for wonderful content to be written by other people just for fun.
Ah, there we go. Back to
Um,
the fanfic.
mm-hmm. Hey, it's sometimes when you don't have anything else to read and you need a break from whatever books you're reading, you just go on the internet and you find something fun. So I don't mind. I don't mind. I'll be honest about it. I enjoy it. Some stuff is really bad, and I tend to avoid that.
Yeah.
Like I'm very I'm just as picky with my with all of my reading. I'm an escapist reader. I don't really read nonfiction unless it's like a particular topic that I'm interested in.
Hmm.
So it's um like I uh I like reading about like archaeology and like that kind of stuff. I like reading about um uh weird history or weird facts and stuff like that. I'm into the I wouldn't say this is necessarily nonfiction, or it's a weird line between the two. Um, the like spooky stuff that have happened in towns and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
I like going on ghost tours and all of that, because you learn interesting, almost morbid side of history and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So there's all kinds of different content that people can consume. Um, I will say one of the things that there's a lot of there's some plot holes in the Harry Potter series that I don't quite understand. So with spells, so the summoning charm is Accio, right? So there should be a dispelling charm. People would say that's Depulso. Depulso is the opposite of Accio, but um, if you can summon something from anything and then you dispel it, when you dispel it, it should go into non-being, like it just goes away, it is destroyed. Um, and there's not really a spell for that, and they never talk about it, like to send something away like that. Um, but they talk about Depulso, which is pushing something away, which is a spell I just learned. So there's some weird, like, spell lore thing that doesn't quite make sense to me with physics and all of that.
Yeah.
And then, like, some things, like, I referred when I texted you the other day, Gamp's law of transfiguration is you can't make something out of nothing.
Right.
and like all kinds of there's all kinds of weird lore stuff that I'm just like, this doesn't make sense to me logically, or like, and it's fiction, so it doesn't really like follow science, but sometimes there's little plot holes that you're just like, even that to me, even with fiction, you need to there's more here that you need to talk about.
When
Still
you
try to
were
ground it.
mentioning when you said you can't make something out of nothing, my first thought was a certain dog saying Edward.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, equivalent exchange. Yep.
Edward? It's like, where's that?
Oh, nothing. I can't tell you the number of cons that I've gone to, and I have like turned a corner and seen a cosplay of that, and then just quickly about faced and walked the other direction. I did not have the strength to deal with that today.
I didn't have the strength. What is that
I
all
like.
about?
Oh, so I mean, in Full Metal Alchemist, there's the one scientist guy that basically combines his daughter with their dog.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And it's very disturbing. And people cosplay that.
What?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
I mean, I did see a guy walking his girlfriend on a chain at the Renaissance Fair, so I guess there's something for everyone out there. I'm curious to see what this cosplay looks like. Pray it's not
I mean,
disturbing.
you can Google it. You can Google
So
it.
yeah, now it makes sense when you say I promptly about face when I see that.
I literally was like, nope, not in the mood for that.
Oh my goodness.
But it was like I've cosplayed quite a few like fun things. But scariest thing I cosplay, of course, is my Death Eater.
Yeah, you have a whole mask and everything for it.
I do.
I would love to see your gothic outfits, although your dressy dress, like the pink dress you have on your Instagram, which by the way you guys can follow by clicking on her Twitch profile. Um, the when you dress up nice, like you really wear it well. So I'd be curious to see how you dress up with the gothic, like
Oh
vampire stuff.
man, half of my clothing in my closet is so I have two styles when I'm not like dressed lazily just at my house. I have floral and I have goth. That's the
Nice.
two, and sometimes it's both. Sometimes it's floral
Ooh.
goth.
Ooh.
Yeah. Um but no, it just depends. Like God, I think when I was over at Cabana last weekend over at the hotel, um I wore long Beetlejuice striped like vertical black and white skirt with just a normal black top and whatever, and I just sat by the pool with my water and read my book, and um uh I can't tell you the number of like kids that came up to me going, your skirt is really pretty, and the mom just was looking by nervously like, is she gonna be nice?
It's like
Like,
a
here's
Wednesday
something.
Adams situation.
Like that's the funny thing is like I've noticed like most people that dress a little darker are actually much like are nice to
Yes.
like people like um like also like I'm in an environment that like of course I'm gonna be nice to your child unless your
Right.
child is like super annoying. I'm gonna be nice to your child.
Right.
So
I love the fact that it's like you were saying that people dress in
people who dress
oh,
weird are oftentimes nicer than people who dress
oh no, my mind was going to the
Yeah.
point where you said the people who dress darker are nicer, and then I'm like thinking it's like there's that one joke about there was one joke where it's like, if the Americans go to Area 51, we'll chase the aliens. The Europeans go to the Vatican's, you chase the predators.
oh,
It's an aliens versus predators joke, yes.
oh,
Ah. Ha, ha, ha. Clever.
And I'm
sometimes
just like,
sometimes anytime somebody mentions the Vatican, I just remember the Van Helsing movie, and then wonder what is actually hidden in the library of the Vatican.
Oh, remember when that guy came out? He kind of disappeared after that all situation, but I
Uh
guess
huh.
some like clergyman or someone came out and said, "Yeah, here's some information that I scooped up in the library that no one's allowed to go in," and then it was controversial. The information wasn't given out, because he got busted, but he promptly disappeared.
Well, that's another thing. Like that guy that created that fuel that was basically like made out of water,
Oh yeah,
and he disappeared
The
off the face
first
of this
hydrogen
planet.
engine, yes.
Yeah.
That was basically the the known story behind that is circulating around the internet was the fact that he made the first hydrogen fuel cell, and then basically he died, and apparently all the
the
what is it called,
patents.
the rights went over to an oil company, and it's like no one would
How
ever do that.
convenient.
So the point being is that
You think it was an
that's
inside
the
job?
story of the internet. But thing is that I have no idea if that's ever true, and it's a hydrogen cell. Like the thing is that making hydrogen for a vehicle isn't exactly, that's like making an engine for a car. It's how many people can make an engine for a car? Every single car manufacturer. Um, so the idea of like big corporations using hydrogen wouldn't have been far off of like, hey, we'll just make our own version because that's what they do,
I think a lot of people
and they still do.
find that hydrogen would have been a much more efficient, but also put a
No,
lot
it
of
isn't.
big people out of business. Like you could eventually, because you
Hydrogen,
think about how combustion engines were back then and how inefficient they are, and then how efficient they became over time. The same with cars that are electric battery cars, like how inefficient they were in the beginning, but now how there's a company in China that's utilizing the big government funding and all that stuff to compete with Tesla and provide cars with batteries that last longer. So everything that maybe arcane or nuance or new that could
yeah.
be considered inefficient will eventually be efficient. Like
Mm-hmm.
even
The
AI is a
problem with
big thing. Like
hydrogen,
what's your biggest fear with AI right now? Like,
zero
considering that
See,
percent. There is no fear.
see, I want AI to tell me when I'm low on certain groceries in my pantry, not
It does.
well, I know, but I want that to be the more active use for it, not
yeah.
whatever,
Yeah.
not being used to essentially. People are using it to make themselves artists when they are not
Ah
artists,
yes.
and I think that's incredibly disrespectful to artists
To
everywhere.
real artists, yeah,
Um,
people who really
like
have
it's
honed that craft.
like it's one thing if you're using it. So I have used AI to create art. However, I only use it to give me inspiration for, say, characters in a tabletop game, or um, like I use it and that's it. It doesn't see anything but my own personal use. I'm not putting it out there that I made that or anything.
Yeah,
It's just
you're not trying to
truly
gain
for
monetary.
inspiration. Yeah.
I've thought about
It
using it to create like images of things that I've written, like take a passage from my book and then put it in there as a
right.
prompt and see what comes out.
Right. Like I think using it it should be used as a tool and a tool
Yeah,
only. But there
yeah,
are people out there that are using it to create art and then create a profit off of it
yeah,
and claim it as their own when
uh,
it is definitely not their own.
yeah.
Um, and it's I just think that's dishonest.
What do you think the end goal or what's your biggest fear with it? Um, considering some of the advancements that are being done with it. So
Well, I
my
believe my biggest concern is its use in the gaming industry.
ah yes,
Um, where it's one thing if you're using it as a tool to essentially check your work, making sure that there's
yeah,
no error in code, that there's that to essentially speed up the process with like texture smoothing or editing and like fixing errors
Good point.
in that kind of thing. Like it's if you're using it as a tool, it's fine. But when you're using it essentially to create something from the ground up, like a lot of these companies are wanting to do, that is somebody's job. That's somebody's life, like livelihood,
Yeah.
that will be likely taken away, which is terrible. Um, so
It's not exactly new though in terms of like the use of it because
no, it's not, but it's getting an increased usage, which
Yeah,
is
and
what is
that's the
concerning.
problem. Like, what is it? What's the
like
end goal? And
Yeah.
I could see that
so
because didn't EA say something like that? They were gonna start using
no no
more
go
AI,
like
or
go back to the original use of robotics, right? This is directly off AI, by the way, in terms of like what the use case. Um, so with AI, and I do mean like all of it, the normal use case for any sort of artificial intelligence or otherwise, let's say we'll go back to the originals. If you ever played an old game, let's say you played Parasite Eve or
Oh yeah.
Resident Evil,
Mm-hmm.
okay, that used AI. It's not
Yeah.
intelligent AI, it's AI. So
Right.
from the start, you're from the 80s, you were using AI in games.
Oh yeah.
but it's
Um,
more advanced
so
now. It's not like they're using it
no,
to make a
it's
robot script where the zombies attack player B and they do this.
yeah, no, but it's a set. Okay, so it's actually not more advanced. Actually, and I'm not even kidding. It's not even more advanced. The point being is that artificial intelligence, the AI that we're talking about these days, is all it's done is they've given it a bigger learning table. So
Yeah,
when it
they've
comes
given
to
it more of a library. Yeah.
yeah, so
Yeah.
when you used to play AI with AI in games, that AI was used in a way that was basically, hey, you're moving a unit here, we'll go counteract it over here.
Yeah, they have a very
Um,
certain set of rules.
yeah.
Right. And didn't
Now,
but a
when
programmer would put that in. The programmer would create that AI. Well, now we're talking about AI creating its own AI.
it's not though, that's the thing. It's really not.
But
It's
what
not
about AI
creating
getting to a
itself.
point where it can start creating itself?
That's AGI.
Right. So that would
So
that's really where I'm getting, like, that's where I'm trying to take the conversation, is like
yeah,
what happens when you get to that point? Like, what do you think happens at that point?
but that's the problem. People are looking at AI in the wrong sense. It's like okay, so you've got dumb AI, which is basically in games.
Like a
Um,
simple version.
you and the different one with neural AI or the actual like AGI, that's when it gets to a human level of thought process, which
Hey, look,
What
mostly it will
what
never
do you
do.
think it could do at that point? Because I mean, that's with a human AI, or an AI that can think for itself and create on its own. What do you think that AI
Um,
would do? Do you think we could reason
what's the
with it? Do
level
you
of
think we would try to work with it, or
we would pour water on it more likely. Um, because the thing is that like no matter what, even if AI gets out on the internet, the problem is that no computer in anyone's home can actually manage or accommodate um,
the
the
processing power?
ability of the
Yeah.
power and what it needs.
Yeah,
And
they're
even
talking
if it
about
used the
making like
internet, it's yeah,
quantum computers, and making a quantum computer is
yeah,
actually really tough, and to keep it cool would require also,
to
so
even
this
not
and
run them,
this.
yeah.
But think about
And
computers back in the 50s compared to now.
yeah, but I'm saying to AI is not AI has always been taking your jobs. Robots in car
Well,
factories have
yeah,
always been taking jobs.
oh yeah.
The point being is that every single step of the way is efficiency. Now, if you say, "Oh yes, this thing is taking a job," yes, it is. The reason why it is because the thing is that it's designed to free up your resource to do a different job, and that's the whole point of using all these tools. And AI is a tool. Now,
Yeah.
when it comes to making art, okay, AI making art itself or whatever, people making art with AI, um, the thing is that what we used to do with that sort of like crawler bots and everything else on the internet um, was to use it for SEO, search engine optimization. Google is an AI.
Yeah,
Okay,
I have a marketing
Google's
degree.
yeah,
I'm
Yeah,
well
yeah.
versed in that. Yeah.
But
and so
making art with it is just basically what we're doing these days is using SEO kind of tactics where it's you're
it's
optimizing
drawing off
what
of
you're trying to
what's
search.
already out there, kind of
Yeah.
creating
Yeah,
its own amalgamation.
um, but when people say AI is stealing art, like, how did you learn to draw? Did you look at someone else's art and then try to make a derivative of it?
Certainly,
Yeah.
but
Did
when
you
you're
trace it?
creating
Yeah.
art with AI, you're not really practicing anything. You're just letting the search engine
You're
do it
not.
for
No,
you.
no.
It's
You're
almost
not
like saying that
practicing. But
I, did research to find the best restaurants in New York by going about New
what did
York
you
and
use to make
testing
it?
them, or did you go to
You use
Google and like
Google,
look
right?
Yelp,
Yeah.
instead of like
But
actually
that's the
going to
thing.
the
Same.
restaurants yourself, or like
Exactly.
GPS is a good example of that. I mean, there's definitely a fine line. You can play devil's advocate with AI when it comes to art, and and AI being used to create video games and stuff. But I could see that like you were saying earlier, that analogy with the car with the e-brake. Once we start going down the slope with AI, it starts getting faster. We can't stop it.
Well,
So the next
that's the
thing that we're
problem
gonna have
with
to
it is
do is
that
just assimilate. We're just gonna have to become
the
AI
the difference with AI is that it's a tool. It is a tool. It's always going to be a tool.
until we
Um,
become the tool, or we become useless. What if we become obsolete because we're no longer useful as a tool?
no, but that's what we want. That's what we need. We need to become useless with creating stuff because it creates. We're trying to create efficiency, right? We're not trying to say, oh yes, that's your job. We're trying to get rid of money.
But then
As a person
But
who
you also get rid of
writes this,
humans who require, like, how do we make a living? What's our currency? What's our monetary value? I mean, if we're freed up of time because we're not working anymore, okay, what are we doing then?
but
Are we trying to create a better
you're
world?
what people are doing is saying money, money, money. You know,
Yeah, well,
the problem is
besides
that
the
money
money,
is the problem.
what
We
are
need to
we
get rid
doing
of it.
with our time? What are we doing with our time? Are we
Everything
if we're not
else.
creating something because AI is creating the art for us, if we're not building something because AI is building it for us, if we have no need for money, what's stimulating us to go out and work for something? It almost becomes like we're unnecessary. We have no purpose anymore.
So if you're thinking about that, what's the purpose of a kid? Just saying, what is the purpose of a kid?
Exactly, and the birth rates are going down too, and not because of AI or anything, but I'm just saying, my
No, no,
biggest
no.
fear with
I'm saying,
AI would
what's the
be like
purpose of a
it
kid?
was is war, is AI like the way that Ukraine's fighting right now, and
Yeah,
it's a very different type of warfare we've seen, where AI is being used quite prominently, and I think an AGI or a language learning model would eventually figure out like, hey, these humans are just kind of using us as suicide bombers, basically, and I don't really like that. It's a waste of our material and a waste of good robots and such. I could see like robotic like uprising, or
ah, no.
like like robots kind of going on strike, or doing like picket lines outside the factories.
But at that point the robot would be human.
Right, exactly. You get AGI, it
But
almost is human.
almost. What? No, AGI is the human element of AI. That's the point of it. AGI is actually the next level up. But the problem is our weapons can't get that sort of level of intelligence because of the fact that basically when it comes to AI or otherwise, um, the issue is that in itself, can't really think on that level. Like your warfare tool doesn't have a quantum computer in it. your telephone doesn't have a quantum computer in it, never will. And so at this point, it's more so the fact that since your everything can't have a quantum computer in it, it's never going to reach the intelligence level that would require it to think for itself. And we're never going to fit a quantum computer in a tiny little chip. It's
I think if
the
if you go
reason.
back to the 1980s and you say that we're going to have, computers in our hands with processing power better than anything we've seen in the early 2000s, people would be like, "What are you talking? That's like some super spaceship talk. Like, what are you saying?" So I think it would almost be kind of no offense here, but it'd be kind of ignorant for us to think that it's not possible for us to have
Mm.
quantum
Oh,
computers in
it's
the
the
future,
limits.
or
It's the molecular limits. That's the
or
reason.
yeah, with quantums it's so far in, but there's a way. There's always a way, and I think it might not be quantum, and it might be something that's more efficient, something we probably didn't discover yet. Um, everything's getting smaller and smaller, and it wouldn't have to even be quantum. Like quantum is not the barrier that we need to pass to reach that kind of danger zone, essentially. But I would be interested. The good parts of AI would be interested to see how it increases our technology and video games. I don't know if you guys seen Unity 5 demonstrates some very great video game capacity for images with what's that? Not sure what it's called, but it's
Yeah.
incredible what they're doing
Yeah,
now.
I think with everything, especially like this kind of stuff, there's such a thing as overuse.
Yeah,
And it this especially this it should be used in moderation. Um,
with responsibility too. Yeah, absolutely.
with responsibility, yeah. But I'm actually going to end my stream. I'll still be around, but
Okay,
I'm going to end my stream
I am
because
about finished with mine.
I'm getting too sleepy to play. So if anybody
Ooh,
is in chat, bye.
bye.
uh, but I'll still be around for a little bit on
Okay.
here. Um, but yeah, this is a fun stream. So
We will have to do some more Hogwarts streaming, or at least I will have to sit there and watch you play. Uh, this game is incredible. I've seen so many people talking, good things about it. Oh, look at this! You got your wizarding wand. Oh my goodness, your stream is perfect.
Also, I was going to ask, have you ever used Talk Like a Pirate Day?
Talk Like a Pirate Day and streamed on Talk Like a Pirate Day.
No, 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 no.
Uh,
Talk Like a Pirate Day for Krispy Kreme, getting all the free donuts.
Oh, you know what? I've almost
uh,
done that.
yes, I have done that actually before.
Yes, it's
I
a
think I'd be
very
pretty good at it.
lucrative.
So
It's definitely very lucrative.
back home when the Krispy Kreme started like doing it, I actually because I have enough clothing in my closet to to outfit a whole female pirate crew, um, like no lie,
Which is why you're the pirate
and
captain.
maybe, but they they would literally expect me to come whenever it was Talk Like a Pirate Day. Um, like we'd roll up in my car. We'd have the Pirates of the Caribbean, uh,
Oh, Hans
uh,
Zimmer, like
like like
the
dun 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 dun,
yes.
all the way down. We'd roll up out of there, and it'd just be me and my gal friends, and probably at least one guy, um, in there, and we would roll up and be dressed up and whatever, and
Oh,
we'd
that's
come
awesome.
in and be like, "You know what we're here for," and they're like, "Oh, there she is," because there's only one Krispy Kreme in the entire county, and it was in the dead center of the town, and
It would have been great if
uh,
they were like, "We've been waiting for you."
oh yeah, no, because the one the God, the third time we did it, they they literally were dressed like pirates behind the counter and
Nice,
ready. It was great.
nice.
I will probably be back shortly. I'm going to turn off my computer and then hop back on my phone so I can
Okay.
just
I'm
Continue
about to
to
finish
train.
with this
You're
stream.
about to finish?
Yeah,
Oh,
I am
okay.
almost done. I actually spent that whole time that you were, doing your wizarding training, and we were
Mm-hmm.
ranting and raving about so many topics. I've been
Yeah.
building a hotel on the coast, this
Oh,
pier, and I'm putting on the finishing touch right now. It's a container
cool.
hotel, so when you talk about
Ooh.
recycling and reusing,
On the
this is,
YouTube? Pull it
yes,
up.
this is,
Let me
here it
pull it
is.
up to look.
We're finishing right
Okay.
now.
I'm looking at it.
The
I'm gonna pull it up
hotel,
right now.
putting in the
Ooh.
final touches.
He's pulling it up right now.
Perfect. Look at there.
Ooh.
Started off as a pile of dirt.
Good.
Need to remove this crane, so we'll go inside real quick and just turn this guy. Turn him. Yep.
Set was even pretty.
They did a great job with this game. I'm always pleased and happily surprised with how well it came out. Um, let's see. Let's see. We're gonna leave this vehicle here. Let's see what the cutscene looks like with all of these construction vehicles strewn about. I love your boots, by the way.
You know, it wasn't always easy for me as a young man. When I was broke and had no prospects, I ended up at the original harbor and slept between the containers at night.
Wow.
An old captain found me and offered me my first job as a deckhand.
Oh,
Aye, aye. That was how I started seafaring long ago. Times were still rough back then. Things are much simpler today, and young people can
I like how
sleep
the sun
inside
is
of
rising
containers
as he's saying
instead of
this.
next to them.
Yeah.
I knew
So
that you could turn
poetic.
these old
Yes.
boxes into something useful. And I'm sure we'll have a full deck during the busy season. The advantages are pretty obvious, right? A
She's come
swell
to visit.
location
She's like, oh,
and still cheap.
mother is
What
done
more
saying
could you
things.
want?
Mother will pet me now.
There we go. The Container Hotel. It's called the 40-foot hotel. I would have called it the 40th loft or something like that. Very cool. All right. Look at that ingenuity. They probably charge like $600 a night to stay there.
Yeah, it's on the
Sh
coast with a good view of the
yeah. Get the bridge right
sunset
there.
at
Look at
sunrise.
this. Shabby chic. Well, guys, that is it for me today. Thank you for tuning in. We have completed another part of the campaign for the Pier contract. You guys know it's coming at the end. It's going to be this massive job that we'll have to get the entire crew in on to complete it. I want to thank you guys for putting up with me this long, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. This is Grail from Grail Construction, signing out.